annoying.
Hello, hello.
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 We're live and the sun is out. Finally,
Yes.
hooray! We've had a week's worth of rain, like really hard rain, causing floodings and trains to be stuck for 8 hours and things. So, hooray!
Yes. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Becky Rose.
And I'm Jason.
And apparently without a second name. And we are Pair of Geeks.
Yes. Well, I do have a second name.
Okay, I'm Becky Rose.
I am Jason, Pair of Geeks.
Wow, trolled. This week we are covering the Dragon Hoard. Dum dum dum. Which means two things.
Several things.
Several?
Yes. Several
Take it
things.
away, as you know more than two. I only know two things.
Well, we have a dragon hoard of goodies to show off to you that you could win in Con+2. There is also a nice dragon hoard miniatures example, which Becky's going to run you through, because, you know, dragon hoards are really cool, and, you know, you definitely want those in your RPGs. But also...
Need a quick preview.
Yes, go ahead. Next to my Hogwarts cup of amazings. Yes, there we go.
Bum, bum, bum.
So we're going to show that off a bit later. But, babe, we also have our...
You hit the button.
Sorry. We also have our Dragon Hoard of Patreons.
Oh, that Dragon Hoard.
Yes, and we wish to thank you all.
Let's do that right now.
In no particular order or hierarchy based around jewels or anything.
Actually, they are sort of in an order, but that's for me to know and no one else to find
They're
out.
an autonomous collective.
Actually, put them in order of something else.
Oh.
But I'm never going to say what. So, our Patreon, what's it supposed to be according to you? Patrons. Our patrons, thank you so much for supporting us. Russell Higgins, dun 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 dun.
Thank you, Russell.
Johnny Mangina, Amber, Mark Threlfall, Brandon Fishwick, Dave Poirier, Fuke Enterprises, Philip Bate, Elizabeth Chipreditkel, and Nate Hanshen. Thank you so much for supporting us. Your support means the world to us. And I'm just moving up now. Is there a black line on
There
the
is a
screen?
black line,
There
yes.
is a black line.
It's
Oh,
this
it's
thing.
right. I need to do that with the keyboard. So, I'm just going to go and do that.
Whilst I pour the coffee and tell you guys about Con+2. Because you probably know what that is if you're a regular viewer, but if you've just joined us and think, what the hell is that? It's a convention that we run online.
It is an RPG convention that runs for 3 days from October the 11th to October the 13th that you can take part in from the comfort of your own home.
For free, may I add.
For
Attendance
free.
is free.
Attendance is free.
However, we strongly encourage you to make donations because it's for a charity.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful charity that we'll talk more about over the coming year. But it's basically the Butterfly Project is a school in Uganda that uses role-playing games and board games to bring an education to kids that turns them into social entrepreneurs for the local communities, and importantly is now starting to produce game designers in Africa, which is really cool. And these are some of the most underprivileged kids in the world. Hi Phil,
Hello,
welcome to the
Phil.
stream. And the convention runs, as I said, from October 11th to October 13th. Put that in your diary. There will be loads of events that you can take part in, including the one that we're running, which is the largest RPG giveaway in history. Asterisk.
And what's at the bottom of this asterisk?
That we're aware of. I'm not aware of
As
an RPG
far
on the
as
scale
we
of this.
know, but there's a lot of prizes.
We've
and
broken all of our records.
We have, and we've also got another big chunk of sponsors from UK Games Expo, which we still haven't actually finished going through yet, so lots more stuff to add.
Yes, we have 57 sponsors at the current count, and what we'll be showing you today is just the physical prizes that we currently have, which is not all of them.
No.
So there is going to be a lot more, and it's a huge part. In fact, there's more under there, isn't there? So, yeah, and
Yes,
there,
yes, those are all
and
donations.
all down here.
As
yeah.
you can see, this is taking over our house.
Well, they can't really see that. It's not on camera yet.
Well,
But
okay,
will.
as you can imagine by our implications of
Yes.
saying, "Oh, look, there are things under there."
It's a huge Dragon Hoard of RPG products that you can win, including minis this year.
Yes, there are minis. There's terrain. There's lots of that kind of stuff, as well as your RPGs, as well as your choose your own adventures, as well as other accessories. We have so much variety as well this year, which I'm
Yeah.
very pleased about.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, our previous record was 170 prizes.
Mhm.
We actually broke that before we went to the expo and picked up 2/3/3/4 of our sponsors. So
Yeah.
we've not counted yet just how many prizes
No.
that will be in this giveaway. And to win these prizes, all you've got to do is watch our telethon stream. It's on this YouTube channel, and it runs from midday to midday, October the 12th to October the 13th. It's going to take us 24 hours to give away all of those prizes.
But just clarify, that's midday to midday UTC.
Yes, Universal Time Coordinated. It's the world's clock that is everyone's time zone is based off. So if your time zone is -7 or -5, it is 5 hours earlier than UTC. So for America, that means you can wake up Saturday morning and stay with us all day and win a ton of prizes. For the Brits, you'll be staying up. Well, you'll be starting at midday and
Drinking lots of tea in order to
Yes.
stay up, and then you're fine again because you've got your English breakfast.
and you'll be winning tons and tons of stuff. Because honestly, we'll be giving away a lot more prizes than there will be viewers. That's that's just the way it is. Everyone will win things. That's a promise.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we actually start showing off what the prizes actually are?
Well, I just wanted, before we do that, I just want to say we're not just going to talk about the prizes in this stream. We're also going to talk about your role-playing games. This is Para Geeks, so we thought we'd theme it. We would talk about Dragon Hoards. So,
And of course, you can ask us questions.
as ever, take part in the chat. Anything you want to say, any questions you've got about your RPG games, or if you just want to talk about the prizes, then feel free to just take part in the chat. Should
You
we?
get a lovely display up here.
Yes. Should we just clear Phil's name off screen then for the
Yes.
moment? Right.
Nothing personal, Phil.
Why don't we do this on this camera?
Okay.
So if I hold it, and then I'll pass you prizes. So the first sponsor we're going to look at some of their stuff is Roll for Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show you some of the things they've given us, and then we'll come back to them later, I think.
Because there's a
Because,
lot.
Well, because I'm working through this box.
Yes.
And some of their stuff's in there, and
Yeah.
some of it's elsewhere.
Yeah, Roll for Initiative have been really, really generous. And they're a new sponsor, so thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. And it was great to meet you guys as well.
What are you
So-
doing?
I'm making sure the cable doesn't get in the way. Okay, switches over to that scene. Okay, so this is painted miniatures. They have clear bases, so you can stick them on your terrain pieces and they'll look absolutely awesome. Can we try and get that even closer maybe for some people? So this particular set is humans. So you've got 6 minis there, and you've got a female archer, a male wizard, a male ranger, you've got a male cleric, a female blade master, and a male Viking. So that's a pretty awesome set of minis. And I can't actually do this without shaking the camera, but I'll try to keep it to a minimum. Here we've got a set of zombies. Now these zombies could be used in either modern day or fantasy, really, with the way they're styled.
Yeah. Like, there's your sort of your hook one, like your butcher. You've got one with a big club thing, but then you've also got one that's called a captain, which sounds like a captain of a guard. In fact, he's wearing sort of captain's clothes there. So yeah,
I really
that
like
could-
the butcher actually. I like.
Yeah,
she's
she's
got
cool.
that kind of meat hook thing going on.
Mm-hmm. And there's like a reach, reaching for your throat, and
I really love the fact that these are on clear bases as well. I've wanted to move my entire mini
That's true,
collection to
actually.
clear
Yeah,
bases,
yeah.
just because I want my scenery to show through. So that's really cool. Then we've got orcs. Now it is so hard to find female orcs, and you get 2 in this set. So what we got there? Do you want to read them out?
Yeah, so for the two females, we've got a female orc eviscerator, so she's got two short swords by the looks of it. She's got a really cool chain medallion thing. And there's also an archer. She is wearing a bit of a bikini, chainmail bikini type thing, but it's not too bad. I've seen worse.
I don't think that's chainmail. I think it's just painted black, isn't it?
No, it's sort of a dark grey.
Okay.
So armor colour. Then we've got some interesting ones. So male orc shaman, which is quite cool because a lot of the time I see the females put as the shamans, not the fighters. You've got this massive, big, burly orc with a big hammer and some weird, cool
tiger claw
thing. There's a regular warrior with a very bent sword, unfortunately, so that might need a bit of work on it. But I like his cool pauldron thing.
Oh, yeah, it's got spiky pauldron.
Yeah, spiky pauldron.
Yeah,
my favourite, though, is this paladin. Like, an orc paladin is... Like, the armour's quite refined, which is not...
That's nice. So, and they've given them all a flesh tone, which kind of goes back to D&D of old, because they don't really do that in current D&D.
No, they're all green and red and stuff. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
No, we'll carry on for the moment, because I want to talk about this. So they would be ideal for use as half-orc player characters, or really just reliving the old school, because the reason orcs changed colour in D&D is because of a court case or threat of a court case. I don't think it actually went to court. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because of course
it was the Tolkien estate had to go at the sort of early pioneers TSR and Games Workshop and said your orcs are from our intellectual property. So what they did is they changed the IP and made the orcs more brutish. But if you want original orcs, as D&D was meant to have them, there's a beautifully painted set of 6 right there. Or you can use them as your half-orc heroes. Right, this lot. So we've got some skeletons. And what I really love about this is, firstly, it's really cool to have this Blade Master... Oh, sorry, I'm knocking the camera there. This Blade Master one that has 2 short blades. But there's a wolf. There's a skeleton wolf.
Yeah, you never get skeleton animals except maybe a dragon.
Yeah, Reaper Miniatures recently launched a few. But we'll talk about Reaper later because they're also sponsoring us. It's so nice to get that. Yeah,
I like as well how, again, there's sort of different ranks. So you've got a spearman, you've got a captain, you've got the blade master, as you said. Nice variety. The weapons, though, in terms of, you know, how fancy they are, they look a bit samey, except maybe his clothes on the blade master.
A bit samey? What, on the weapon? Well, two of them have got swords.
Well, not in terms of what they are, but more like... You know how... Well, skeletons are dead people, right? So you're going to get dead people from all walks of life with, like, different quality worth of weapons, whereas they're all just kind of crude looking.
Well, sword's a sword. I mean, on a mini, these are so fine and small. I couldn't imagine you'd... I mean,
True, but what I was trying to...
different colour hilts and things.
Yeah, what I was trying to compare it to was the fact you've got, like, the more crude weapons on the orcs,
because
and then
orcs
you've got,
have
like,
more
a paladin.
weapon variety. You mean, but then again, there's no orc skeleton in the set.
No, that's true.
I mean, it's fantastic to have, I think, a skeleton that isn't a human. You know, you've got the wolf skeleton, which I think is great. And I just think it's wonderful. And the other thing about these skeletons is they're actually very dainty. They're kind of proportional to what they should be, whereas so often with skeleton miniatures, to make them stronger in the mould, the bones are actually far too thick. But they've actually done these as thin as they should be.
Yeah, and so they look really pretty like that.
Yeah. And
if that could be pretty.
I love that they've done that because it really, really makes them feel actually more terrifying in a way. Because like you can see how these could be nimble.
They look more like a dead person, and as you said before, skeletons are always these like level 1. You just sort of whatever skeleton.
They're usually level 2.
Well, okay, fine, level 2. But my point is, or your point even was, they're just, your first, or possibly second encounter, and it's like, whatever, skeletons. It's supposed to be terrifying. It's a dead person.
They're meant to be haunting. Yeah, we talked about that previously, didn't we? How I think skeletons should be one of the most scariest foes you ever face. Hi, Scope. Oh, God, I had...
Here's Scare.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott Poe. The reason why you consistently stumble across our live streams is because we consistently stream them every Friday.
Yes, every Friday you can tune in with us, pair of geeks, and talk about RPGs until we get too tight and I lose my voice.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to do the 24-hour stream in October? I don't know.
Because you'll have me and Lloyd to help you.
Yep, but I am not giving up. I am streaming all the way through.
Well, you kind of did last time, so you can do it
there
again.
There was no kinda. I did.
Well, exactly.
Absolutely did.
There we go.
Let's have a look at another prize. So I'm
Yep,
going to
so
reach in here and see what we get.
Yes, so we're pausing the roll for initiative for now, because as
Yep,
Becky said,
we'll
there's
come
more
back
in the
to them.
box.
Yeah, but I'm just pulling these things out of the box in the order they come.
Okay.
And we have a set of 3 novels here. So let's get the camera up to look at them.
Why don't we do it
close.
this way?
Okay, but you'll need to switch camera mode-y thing.
Yeah. No. Alright, so first of all, let's get the first book, actually. Book 2, but no, it is this one. So this is a trilogy of the Camelot 2050 trilogy. So this is the first book, Black Knight. Second one is Dragonfire. And the third one is Dark Magic. And as you can see, and also from the title, there's fantasy with weird and wonderful futuristic stuff in there.
Yeah, it's this, fantasy sci-fi blend of a very famous legend. Obviously, it's the whole Camelot, King Arthur, sword in the lake type thing.
Why don't I read the blurb?
Yes, let's do it.
By the way, these are all signed by the author.
They're all signed by the author, David Cartwright, who is supporting us this year.
Thank you very much, David. It is the year 2050, and Rosalind Savant, squire to one of the legendary Knights of the Round Table of Camelot, prepares to do her duty at the King's Tournament. It is a chance for her to prove herself to her superiors and her critics alike. Little does she, or anyone with any loyalty to Camelot, know, but in the east, an old enemy hatches her plans to destroy the knights, the table, and everything Camelot stands for. In a race against time, Rosalind and her new comrades must journey to a place where fact meets fantasy, legend meets reality, and where technology and magic clash for honor. Ross must learn who her real friends are and who she can trust before the fate of Camelot itself is sealed. For duty, loyalty, honor, and trust. For Camelot and the King.
Yeah, it really does sound like an awful.
Is that the Houses of Parliament in the background?
It does look a bit like
it looks a bit like the Houses of Parliament
art on the back
in
of the
London. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
I interrupted you.
It does sound like an awesome book series, and David's a really nice guy. We met him end of last year, and he's just a really genuine, decent person. So it's really great to have him on board.
So this could be yours.
Could be yours. Now next we have, I'm going to take the price label off this because whoever wins it is not paying the asking price.
Yes, Scott, it is Friday. Congratulations, you've made it to the end of another week.
Yay! Right, so next up, we got, they come in a little dice bag.
That's an interesting point. 2050, as Scott says, is year 1 in Shadowrun's game setting.
Ah.
That would be an interesting plot twist, wouldn't it, if that turned into a Shadowrun novel, but I don't believe they are linked. I think it may be just a coincidence.
Okay, so next up, these are quite pretty. I'm going to get the camera out up close on these.
Oh,
I
yes.
need to put the light
Yes,
on.
absolutely.
I want to show you the effect. So it's a set of dice that have been provided to us by Loki Battle Mats, and
There we go.
hopefully that's coming through.
Yes.
You can see it's like they're a blue gem sparkle set, and they're just really pretty. And they've got a little dice bag in there too. So do you want to change the
Yes, it's sort of a nice translucent silver type thing.
It's a nice set of dice. Really pretty. Coming with a little dice bag, so it's very sweet.
Are these from these guys?
I believe they're from Loki.
They're from Loki. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Very, very nice.
Loki battle mats. We got some more stuff from Loki, which we'll show you later.
Yes.
But things are just coming out in the order they're coming out right now.
Hello,
so...
Lord Morbius.
Hey, Randall, how you doing? So this, you might have seen these popping up all over the place in recent years.
I feel consigned to buy one, and I did.
Yeah,
and then I got a dice tray, and yeah, everyone's got them now.
So this is from All Rolled Up, and she did it in my favourite colour. You don't get a choice of colour. It comes in my favourite colour.
Yeah, but it's not yours.
Purple. Yeah, but we're giving this away to you guys. It is an All Rolled Up. So this is... you use one of these. So
yes.
Tell me what this has done for you in your game.
These are particularly good for conventions. That's when I use them. But also, if you are going to a DM's house, or if you're going to a friend's house to run a game, this is perfect for taking just little bits with you. So, for example, you have got, when you unravel it all out, you have got a quite big dice pouch. It's bigger than it looks. Goes quite deep.
You definitely could get 4 or 5 sets in there.
Oh, you could get way more than that. I think when I was moving house to here, I managed to fit like all of that pound of dice in here, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
At a push, and obviously it's very big, but you know. You've then got like quite an open pouch here, which I tend to put sticky notes in, post-it notes, or other large things. You might even want to put your mini in there, but be careful because it's not reinforced, so it's not like, you know, protected. And then you've got lots of different compartments for your pens and pencils.
Well, it's protected in terms of the paint. It's just in terms of impact.
Yes, that's what I was. That's what I was meaning. And then it basically all rolls up really nicely, and then you've got this you can just carry or put in a little bag, and then you can unroll it, which is really satisfying, like a map, and go, oh look, it is my arsenal. Or it's a bit like, you know, in Fellowship of the Ring movie, where Aragorn sort of unravels all those swords and says, right, here you go, hobbits, here are your swords. It's like that. It's just cool. It's one of those things, it's more for a gimmick. You don't need one, obviously, but it's nice to have one.
I mean, you can fit everything you take into the session in there,
it's very useful, but yeah.
It's an RPG wallet.
Yes. That is a very good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And that could be yours.
Now this next one... Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Picture of Cthulhu on the front!
Yes. And there is also... my favourite quote
We
on the
live
back.
on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. And then Elder.
One of the most famous Lovecraft quotes from the Call of Cthulhu short story.
Okay, and then this is a notebook basically for running your games. So you've got one side plain and one side lined.
You don't have to use it to run games.
Hello, Space Communist.
Hello, Space Communist.
Approve of your politics.
We're not communists.
Very hard left.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would use it for, because, you know, you've got little sort of elder signs, and is that Yellow King?
It is the Yellow King, yes, the yellow sign.
Slowly learning my Cthulhu.
Elder sign, yellow sign.
Yeah. So, yeah, just a handy little thing for running your games, take notes, got space to draw.
This was one of the low-key battle mat
prizes. Yeah, that
prizes
is from low-key battle mats.
Was thrown in.
Also is from low-key battle mats. It is an actual book of battle mats. So it folds out, so you get an A3 map, and you've got all of these. Let's get the camera up close.
I was going to say, because it's packaged up, so we can't open it.
Just before I show you, you're also going to get 2 sheets of these with it. Now, these are
why don't we put these on the camera as well?
So one side of those sheets is fantasy, and the other side is science fiction.
Okay. So let's show these sheets off first, then.
Okay, so these are just sort of pieces you can cut out and put over your maps. So you've got this kind of fort area here. You've got some crates, treasure chests, barrels, coins, stairs down, some kind of wall or obstruction. There's an altar, a fire, looks like a grave, a log, a tree. What's that?
That is a spike trap pit.
A spike trap pitty thing. A table, a tent.
Slicey blades.
Slicey blade traps, stairs down, a cart, a boat, and some pond, I guess, or glowing pool. You could use that as
like a glowing pool, yeah.
Magic healing pool.
And then
or something.
it's basically you've got duplicates there, yeah.
Flip it over.
Oh yes, of course, it's two copies, isn't it? Sci-fi. So you've got, I mean,
a tank, a drop ship of some kind.
You've got like
consoles.
an incubator here.
Yeah, like a
bit like an alien.
cryogenic stasis thing. You've got laser beams.
Yep.
Resident Evil style.
Stairs going down. I'm not sure what that is. Is that like a console?
That could be a defense turret.
Oh yeah.
Or gun of some kind, or any other bit of sci-fi equipment
a table
you need.
with a gun on, of course. You've got another sort of pit there.
The Sarlacc pit.
You do have a Sarlacc pit, yes. You've got like I suppose that's like a landing strip thing.
Oh, you could use it as a barricade.
Or like a balcony. Excuse me.
Balcony, yeah. All sorts of possible uses.
What is that? Is that dynamite?
That's barrels.
Barrels of some kind. Obviously
Barrels
consoles here. I mean, what I like about the sci-fi ones, they're actually quite ambiguous.
Some asteroids and I can't make that one out. Is that like a vent?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, like an air venty type thing. Cool.
Very, very nice. And then we have...
The maps itself, we're not going to open this up today, but... yeah, you've got all these different battle mats. I think what you got there, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 29 battle mats there of all sorts of different settings. Now, I have seen these in the larger format, so
for example,
I really love this one, this throne room one.
Yeah, that one's really cool, yeah.
Kind of zoom in maybe and do it in quarters. And it's just a really handy way.
And that beach as well, I like the beach.
Yeah, the water effect on that is really nice. Should we go back to the normal camera for a moment?
Yes.
And then we'll talk about these mats and how I use them. Because I actually do have this book myself, but in A3.
Even bigger.
Yes, you can get them in A3. It surprised me actually, because I saw somebody doing a Kickstarter recently where they said it's the first A3 battle mat book, and I'm like, no, Loki was the first.
Apparently this was the People's Choice Awards at the UK Games Expo Best Accessory of 2018.
Ah, cool.
So yeah. So it's got awards and stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. Now,
the way I use them.
Yes.
Because like when I do a minis game, I'll have a setup, I'll have a layout out at the start of the session, but we might play for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, sometimes longer. So I use that for a secondary encounter without having to put another layout out. It's great.
Exactly. It speeds up a lot of time. And also, I believe you can draw on this, can't you?
Yeah, it's the dry wipe material type thing,
Yeah.
which the modern ones you can even use permanent on and wipe it, though I never would.
Yeah, you can draw whatever you want, rub straight off, and yeah, lots of really cool variety. Some of the ones I like, there's like the sort of chessboard type room, there's these really nice sewers.
Or something.
There's like a lava thing. In fact, I was actually thinking when looking at this before, is it like Monkey Island? Because you've got rooftops, you've got a beach, you've got hell. So yes, so really, really cool variety of maps.
Yeah.
And back to the chat for a moment, indeed. Show
Okay.
us some love, as Lord Morbius likes to say every time.
Make my business cards not lie.
Well, we have 4 left until 3,500.
Yes, we're nearly at 3,500 subscribers, and our business card. I'm going to show it. So we use this to pick up sponsors. And it does say here, right on the back, right in the bottom corner there, it says, if that could get in focus, I don't put something behind it, 3,500 subscribers right in the bottom corner there. So we need 4 more for that to actually be true.
Only 4 of you.
Or back us on Patreon, also like that. So Scott says, I have stay at Gnome. Oh,
home?
Sorry,
Maybe?
I thought you said
home?
gnome. No, stay at home. Parent time. Dilation. What? That dilation? That's making something bigger, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, like your pupils dilating and stuff. Scott says, nice. All my DM dice are trans glittery. Keeps the players from swiping them. Cool. We have more dice. In fact, let's grab some of those dice bags now. So these ones are sent to us from Wisdom Saved Media.
Oh, there's some beautiful stuff from Wisdom Saved Media.
We have some...
also a new sponsor, by the way. Thank you very much, Wisdom Saved Media.
They have sent us more stuff, so we're just going to look at the dice for the moment. We'll be pulling out more of their stuff in a little bit.
There's
I'm just going to get
more dice
set up on the table here to show them all. I think we'll need the light on as well on the camera. So, there we go. So these come in little sort of, is it faux leather bag that's stamped?
Yes, so really nice dark leather. It's got Wisdom Save Media embossed on it as well, which is really awesome.
Why don't we get the camera up so people can see?
Yeah, sorry. There we go.
Alright, so we've got this translucent set, we've got this blue set here, we've got 2 sets of yellow and 2 sets of orange, and that is a really bright, vibrant, opaque orange. I quite like that shade, actually.
Yeah, it's almost a bit peachy.
So yeah, really,
and
really nice.
in terms of
dice.
the
and yeah, they all
bags.
come in these sort of little leather bags.
There's also some drawstrings and everything.
Yeah. So a nice thing, another nice accessory that you can win as all part of Con+2. There is so much stuff here, guys. We're going to be going through this for quite a while, and we also need to make sure we kind of put these back together as we go along.
Yes,
so
of
just
course,
bear with us a moment. So, on top of dice, I just want to show another little thing that Wisdom Save Media sent us. That we're not going to give these out as separate prizes. We're going to throw these in with other prizes, but these are fantastic.
Yeah, because Wisdom Save are all about kind of... They give you tools in order to create better worlds, hence the term Wisdom Save Media. So you're racking your brains thinking, oh god, what the hell shall I call this tavern? I have no ideas. And then you get one of these bookmarks out, and you can...
There's no tavern names on the bookmark. This is a is a play aid.
Okay, sorry,
If
there's
you want
another
tavern
prize.
help-
Another
if you
prize.
want tavern help, Wisdom Save
I
Media
got mixed up. I haven't looked at them for a little while.
have sent us. Is that how many copies?
There's
we got
5
now?
copies.
We got 5 copies.
5 copies.
I think they've given us some PDFs of these. as
Yes,
well,
I
haven't
was just
they?
about to say that there's also some PDFs of this, but in terms of hard copies, there are 5. So, in terms of the tavern thing, yes, Pocket Companion, a tavern's guide. So, it's got names, it's got stuff they serve.
It documents a load of taverns and gives you all the stuff to generate taverns.
Oh, look,
There's
that's
some
a
really cool
bloody
ideas.
dragon.
So
History. It's even got reviews from specific patrons. Like this one is from Reese the Blacksmith, 4 out of 5. Great time. The wife spent all her time looking at the cloths and spices. The blacksmiths know their stuff. Some dwarven magic as well, I think.
So yeah, it's just loads of inspiration for the taverns in your games. Scott wants the yellow set of dice, the translucent yellow.
Well, you're going to have to donate and win them.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, player aids. That's what I got
Okay,
mixed up.
so
Well, there's
we
DM
have
tips
tons
and
of
player
these.
aids.
We have so many of these. So 5. Go on, you take one.
The paper cut. Yeah, so on one side there's DM tips. So, for example, if you need to know how long 5 foot is or whatever with your map, there's DC things. So, okay, moderate is 15, hard is 20.
Yeah, it's got the DC table, the cover table.
You've got exhaustion.
I love having
Full
the exhaustion
damage.
level. Exhaustion is my favourite
Yeah,
kind of damage in
you
D&D.
love exhaustion.
I do.
Also, they put a little cover thing for AC as well.
Cover thing? For
Yeah, so when you're in half cover or 3/4
yeah.
cover,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get more AC, so that's a little thing. And then on the player side, you've also got your ruler thing for feet. You've got things to do with combat, what you can do, currency, so how much platinum goes into how many gold, that kind of thing. Death saves, how long short rests are, healing potions, so for example, greater healing is 4d4 plus 4.
Yeah, it's just a really, like, if you got your rule books at the table, you got this as your bookmark, you've just very quickly got a useful tool with DM tips one side and player tips the other. We have 15
And
of
it
these
looks really nice.
that are going to go in other prizes and be scattered amongst stuff.
Like, it's amazing
So-
how sometimes it's the little things that are just so awesome. And you
Yeah.
can show this off and people will go, what is that? Where did you get that? That is amazing. It's like, well, if you go to this convention, or however your accent is.
Right. They've also sent us 3 of these. So,
Indeed. Well,
take a look, put one over there.
yeah,
Right.
these are posters.
Aye. Should go back here on the wall. It's a
Well,
tavern
yeah, but we
rules
can't
poster.
have it.
So staying on the tavern theme. Tavern rules. Dun, dun, dun. So, I mean, I quickly like the fact that one of the things it says on here is additional furniture can be provided in the event of a brawl.
It's like, if you've ever been to, in particular, an English pub, you get a lot of these sort of quirky, comical statements. Like, there's one in a pub that I remember going to a lot in York that said, "Save water, drink beer."
Beverages sold by the size of the drink, not by the size of the drinker. Quite an important rule, I think, for a pub in a fantasy world.
This, my friend, is a pint.
Yes.
Healers drink free, the barkeeper's always right, etc. etc. Oh,
And we're still
dwarf...
going through.
This is my favourite one. Dwarf tossing is not permitted inside.
We're still going through stuff from Wisdom Save Media.
Yeah,
We
this
have
says a lot of things.
some art here, limited edition art from the... I think it's all from the Tavern book.
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's in sort of larger print, and there's only so many, so there's
We've
100
got 6 of these.
prints.
Each of these, I believe, there is 100 prints of.
Yes.
So
they're
we have-
limited.
Yeah. So that is... Which number's that?
This is 64.
64 of 100. We have 89 of 100. Actually, I do wonder, do you think... Is it not 100 pieces of art? No, that is...
It's no different.
I don't know,
On
because-
proper canvas paper.
That's why I'm just wondering if it is actually the original and it is just... That's the number, but... Like the art number or page
quite,
number or
quite
something.
possibly. Or they've done like limited edition.
We need to show
things.
them, not yourselves.
Yes.
So we've got this lovely time. So you
Yeah.
you changed camera on me.
I'm sorry.
So like it'd be quite useful, as a GM. I think just sort of whip out a picture of it's this building that
This
you're
is
in.
my favourite
or-
one because it's got a tankard in it. And some playing cards and some coins.
These two remind me of sets from Tabletop World because that looks an awful lot like the City Gate model they do, and that looks an awful lot like the River Bridge they do, which is just really cool. So yeah,
And then there's that one.
I showed them that one. You're giving
Oh, I
them a
beg your
double
pardon.
viewing.
I beg your
Right.
pardon.
Let's get these boxed back up,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll move on to the next stuff.
Shall we say some filler so it's not really boring?
No, we'll let them type it in the chat. They can do their own filler. They're grown-ups now.
Yes.
Alright, let's get that out of the way. Okay. Now, why don't we show something that is a bit special?
Oh, yes.
So if you've won the all rolled up, let's clear the chat off screen so we can
Yes.
just see this one for its beautiful stuff. So a returning sponsor for us is Wormwood. Now last year they gave us a Purple Heart Dice Vault, which was this lovely wooden box to bring your dice to your gaming session with, magnetically sealed with foam lined for your dice to protect them.
Extremely good quality.
They are
Very well
amazingly good quality, handmade wooden accessories for your gaming. This year, they've sent us another Purple Heart piece. But it's not a dice box, it is a box for your miniature. So if you take your miniature to your game, you can take it in this beautiful Purple Heart Wormwood box. And it's got a very strong magnetically sealed. It's so strong, in fact, I gave this to a work colleague and told him it was a Chinese puzzle box. It took him a minute to get into it before he realised it's just a magnet and you just twist it. So you
But
put
also,
your miniature in there
I mean,
and
it's loud.
and it's protected to get there. I mean, it's not going to... Honestly, it's not...
I nearly trapped my fingers at one point because the magnets are so powerful. They pull like that when you're about this far away.
Yeah, so the trick is to twist.
Yes.
There we go. So Lord Morbius is asking, what is the total count of prizes to be given away at this year's Con+?
The answer is we haven't finished counting.
We don't know. It's so many. What we do know
It's
is
a couple of hundred at
we
least.
broke our previous record, which was 175 prizes,
Before the expo.
before we went to the expo and
So,
picked up most of the sponsors.
Not counting all of this stuff we're currently showing you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, some of this we picked up at the expo, and some of it we picked up beforehand.
Well,
Yeah, this is at the expo, Loki, Wisdom Save Media.
the only thing that we've shown that's not been at the expo is the Camelot trilogy. So
Yeah.
everything else has been Expo.
Well, we've shown Wisdom Save Media. We've actually shown that before.
Oh yes, I beg your pardon. That
Yeah,
was
before.
that was
get
Dragon
out-
Meat.
Should we get out one of the big star prizes?
Yes.
It's the biggest thing we'll be showing you today. We have shown this one before as well. This is Mal Drakkar. And I think what I should do is I should go get the 5-headed one.
Okay.
Painted one.
Okay.
So, why don't you talk about how Reaper supported us last year? Or something in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. So Reaper were absolutely amazing in that they basically provided paints, paintbrushes, minis, etc., and sent it all to the kids in Kampala, which is incredible. And this year they are giving us this, which is Maldrakar. We've also got Dragons Don't Share, which is basically another large dragon with a load of like rocky terrain type thing, so a dragon hoard.
This is Mal Drakkar.
And yeah, this is what it looks like.
This is my painted one. So, because I happen to own this mini, so it is essentially Tiamat. Let's get the proper camera, the floating camera on this, and we will show you what it looks
I'm
like.
trapped behind a big box.
Well, you'll have to stay trapped for the moment.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm being attacked by prizes. Okay, let's get the light on that. There we go. So this is my painted Mal Drakkar. So I've obviously painted it up as Tiamat. So we've got the 5 different dragon-headed colours: red, white, black, green, and blue. Down there at the bottom. There's the blue. Comes on this sort of rock base. You can remove one of the pieces of the rock base to reduce the footprint of the base. This stands about a foot tall. As far as I know, it's the biggest miniature in like all of role playing, like of all of minis.
Yeah, you got to start contemplating: is it really a miniature at this point?
Well, it's a bigature.
Yeah,
But it's
bigature.
the biggest 25mm/heroic scale mini. So to go bigger than that, you actually have to go up a scale.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes in this huge box that Jason is holding, but we might have to take it out of that to transport it to you, especially if you're overseas.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We
just to
shall
save a bit of
see.
money.
We shall see.
So
We've got more chats.
we have. So Lord, well, why don't you read it out?
Yeah, Lord Morbius says magnetic boxes are not good containers for storing your thumb drivers in. Don't ask me how I know. I think I can guess.
The trick is to twist.
Ooh, a new person. Greetings from California.
So that is Sezrakan Eldar.
Yes.
Welcome to the channel.
Sorry for stealing all your avocados, but we are millennials. Well, I'm a millennial. You're a pretend millennial.
So, what we're doing here, if you are unaware, is we are going through all of the prizes, all of the physical prizes that we currently have that we will be giving away to viewers in October when we do our big charity telethon. We know we have it will be the biggest RPG prize giveaway in history. Asterisk.
Yes. It's going to be huge. So, to reiterate once again, all this stuff we are showing here, we're not just showing it to you because it looks nice. We're showing it to you because it could be yours.
Absolutely. There is more chat.
There is indeed more chat.
Scott Poe says, we are neighbours. I'm in AZ.
Arizona.
Indeed.
Lots of hot places.
It's hot in here tonight. I might have to flap my
Well,
myself
according
with
to one of the more sensationalist newspapers, it's now going to go from severe flooding to a massive heat wave.
that. Yes, except they were reporting we were already red with sunburn whilst it was still raining this morning.
Yeah, I don't know if they've changed it to adapt, but anyway. By the way, we do very much know that global warming is a thing. It's just that they love to play on
That particular paper.
they're like, oh my god, it's so terrible, panic, panic, panic.
Every
When it
year in
actually
the
it's
summer,
not realistic.
They do a story saying it's going to be the worst winter on record, and they do that every summer.
Yeah.
To the point last year, I think you could actually place bets with bookies on when they were going to run the article.
Yeah.
When they were going to first do it. Right.
But anyway,
you're going to show those first. Then?
Yeah, I mean, again, these are packaged, so we can't really open them, so they don't look particularly exciting. But these are also from All Rolled Up. I mentioned the dice trays, which is another thing that everybody likes, except you don't like them. Because of how they bounce. You're just like,
They're great things, you know.
But we have a small one and a large one. For those who don't know what it is, they just fold up like this. You put them back out, and they can pinch together to form a tray, basically. And this is in a nice sort of lunar moon style when you open it. And this one is a very nice old school type looking drawing of flagstones, sandy flagstones. So both are really awesome, and we'll go over here with the purple All Rolled Up, which you can also win. Excuse me. What is next?
Okay. Next up, we have these two dice sets. Now, these are a little bit different. These are from Roll for Initiative, and they're quite special because I'll show this set first. This I don't want to open it just yet. So these dice are 25% bigger than normal dice, making them much easier to see on the table. Just really convenient. It's so easy to read. These numbers are nice and sizable because the dice are bigger. And
Was it just the dice that were big? I thought just the numbers were bigger.
The dice themselves, I believe, are bigger. Yeah. I mean, look at the size of that D8.
Yeah, that's true.
To normal.
But the numbers really stick out, which I love.
Yeah, really, really good set. And then we've got this set, and you notice this box is bigger. These are the same size dice. They're the largest physical size dice, but it's a set. It's more than a standard poly set. It comes in this lovely swirly blue pattern, and what you get in here, you get 3 D20s. You get 1d12, you get the standard d10 and percentile, but you get 2d8s, 4d6, and 3d4, which just makes it so much more useful. I mean, how many times you get your favourite set of dice out, and the GM asks you to roll for advantage or something? I've only got one dice.
Or your damage is, like, magic missiles, you got all your d4s, especially if you upgrade to another level. And you're like, oh, okay, pass them here. But no, in this, you've got them already. So you can just keep them all by your side and be possessive about them.
Okay, there's more chat up on screen. Why don't we deal with that before we get these next ones out?
That people are coercing in American states. Hello, Californian friend. You millennial, says Scott Poe, have the support of Gen X. Sorry about our parents.
Yeah, I concur. I'm a Gen X, and I completely concur with that statement.
Yes.
Sorry about our parents. Okay.
Lord Morbs says, sadly the prizes can't be mine. I'm a volunteer staffer. Yes, however, Morbs is working tirelessly on some more modules. I believe he's got D&D, Call of Cthulhu, and various other things, and the chat's disappeared, which can all be yours just by signing up to our mailing list.
We'll explain more in just 1 second, but first, this. So, got the chat back. It's functional again.
Yay!
Woo!
So yes, mailing list.
Yes.
Tell us what that is.
If you go to the convention website, Con+2.live, and sign up for the mailing list, the email mailing list, which we email very rarely. It's just about convention news, so when game sign-up opens, we'll be emailing. When the convention's on, we'll remind you about it and so on. And it's really just to remind us of when the convention is, and as each major announcement comes along, we send out an email to people on that list. And if you are on that list as the convention ends, you will be sent a free
swag bag
of downloads, which has tons of stuff in it. Lots of it created just for the swag bag.
by him.
by Lord Morbius himself. I believe Ronnie's going to write an adventure as
Yes,
well this
yes,
year.
Ronnie is as well.
Okay,
So thank you to the both of you.
let's show the next one. This is from Atlantis Miniatures. Now, if you hold the camera, I'll hold the model.
Can I just say this thing though, because it's awesome.
Oh,
So, says from California, it says, I'm going to a Pride RPG Day. That sounds awesome. I wish we had a Pride RPG Day at our FLGS. Oh well. And the one shot I'm running is about Nazi orcs causing global warming in Eberron.
that's epic.
It is.
That's truly epic.
Mm-hmm. That's very cute.
I love it.
I have no words.
Okay.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, beyond amazing. Okay, they can't see this yet.
I know, I'm just getting into position because reasons.
Okay, so I'm holding this together because it's a 3-part model. What we've got here is from Atlantis Miniatures. It is an orc chief of some kind with a big pokey thing going, riding this kind of troll-like, yeah, I'd say that's a troll. It's sort of a hoofed troll mount.
But
So,
it's not just a troll. It's got like a walrus skull on its head. It's got a tortoise shell on its back
no,
with a
that's
skull on.
a saddle.
Yeah, but it's like a tortoise shell almost. Oh, I suppose it is. Yeah, okay. But I'm going to pretend it's tortoise shell because that's cool. But the walrus thing, the walrus skull is so awesome.
I love the detail on these models because these are resin minis, so they've really got amazing quality detail. They're just fantastic pieces.
Yes.
So
I'm looking too much at the pretty mini rather than paying attention to what the camera's doing, so sorry. I can't help it. It's got 20 charisma.
okay, that is not the only Atlantis mini we'll be giving
there are
away.
a few. I'm really quite jealous that you guys are getting these and not me. I'm just saying. These are in like packets and stuff.
Yeah.
So again, we're not going to get them out completely, but even so.
Okay, so this is a unit of 3 by the looks of it.
It is.
Yeah, I've got. So I'm just going to get one out. It looks like. Hang on. Are they the same
my face.
rider or not? No. They've got variants on the riders and stuff. So I imagine they've got variants on the mounts too. But I'm just going to get the one out for now. Oh, you're on that way. I'm still getting the things out.
Yeah, but
Okay, so this is an orc archer. And there's bases for this as well. So this is the thing that is riding. It's a warg, basically, or a boar.
looks like a wild boar, yeah.
Yeah. Really beautifully, expressively modelled. It's lovely minis, these. And they do have a really good range. Like I do have some Atlantis bits myself. So, and I like the way their riders attach to the models. It's a bit hard to do it with the sprue on this guy, but yeah, there it kind of goes on somewhere like that. And of course, the arm is at the moment on the sprue. So this is an orc warg or boar rider, and there are 3 of those in the set. Sorry for the boring shot of my arm there.
Yeah, but it's a lovely arm.
No. Right, I'll get these ones back in the bags and get the next one out because we've more stuff from Atlantis Miniatures.
More stuff. And this could all be yours.
Absolutely. So we're meant to be talking about RPGs as well and about Dragon Hoards in your games.
But seriously, there's so much stuff to get through.
We'll come back to
we
it.
will see.
We'll talk about RPGs later on tonight after the interval.
After a message from
Okay.
somebody.
This is going to be really hard to hold because it's a 4-part model.
We could just show it in bits.
I'll work out what it is first. It's a troll shaman. Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay.
Oh yes, I remember. This was the one that I
okay.
was looking at when I.
Right.
opened
I'm gonna show the 3 pieces first, roughly. So no, I'm gonna show 2 pieces first. I'll do the arms separately because seriously, I can't hold that many things in my hands at once. So here is the troll shaman. You could mount him in slightly different poses there, but basically he's forward facing there. very large mini.
Mm-hmm.
Loads of lovely, exquisitely modelled details.
And he really works out.
Yeah, very muscular guy.
Check out those glutes.
Big. Just seeing the back. That's awesome.
We are
right.
gushing over these.
Now, if I'll try and hold this right, the right arm kind of comes down and is sort of fist clenched on the floor. So I don't know if that is kind of clear as to exactly. So there is something like that, and then the left arm holds this massive shamanic. I was a bit screw on the back, so I can't.
That's a bit like
put it quite in
Germanic.
place, but this sort of massive staff with it's got skulls and elephant tusks and things. So again, just the level of detail, like the detail just in that bit. Oh, sorry, arm shot. The detail in that bit of wood is actually really high, which is a surprising thing to say.
Yeah.
Again, it comes with a base. My belly was trying to pop out the t-shirt during that shot. But hopefully you were looking at the minis.
Oh, I'm sure they were, because I certainly was.
So that's all from Atlantis Miniatures. They're another new sponsor for us this year.
Yes.
And it was really great meeting them.
Thank you very much, guys. You're awesome.
They were fantastic. Or he was fantastic, rather.
Yes.
Really wanted to back us. So remember when we met him, it was right at the end of the day and I had no energy and voice left. And it was his enthusiasm that made it happen, really.
Yeah.
Because I was dead to the world.
All the same, take me away, we're dead to the world.
Alright, let's chuck them over.
And look at the chat. So, yeah, Scott thinks that Cesar's scenario is very sinister. I suppose it is. And Lord Mob says, punch Nazi orcs with Big B's clenched fist. Yes. Punch Nazis. Yes! Easier question, says Lord Mulberry, how many different dice sets are we giving away this year? It is easier, but it's
not actually an easy question.
It's not easy, no. We've
we've
already
got 5 from Wisdom Save, we've got 1 from Loki, and we've got 2 from Roll for Initiative. However, Kakapopo TCG are coming back, and they'll be giving us some of the metal table breaker dice, we think, but we're still talking to them about what we're going to be giving away. Incidentally, for those of you still waiting for the Kakapopo TCG table breaker dice from last year's convention,
and the Kickstarter,
in fact, I emailed the prize winners this morning. Hence, nothing to do with the Kickstarter. So, 3 of you got back to me. I know before we came live, I hadn't seen a response from the last person. Just checking your addresses haven't changed because they are now shipping.
The last person to confirm their address is fine.
Oh, really? The 4th person? Oh, right. Okay.
4th. Ooh, better check that.
Yeah. So anyway, doesn't matter for now.
Never mind.
That doesn't want to be near the mic.
No, fair point. Shall we go back to a book?
A book?
Yes, a
I'll have
book.
to try and find one. Oh, we've got some under here.
We do.
Let's...
I was particularly thinking of a black book, which is there.
We've got another one. Oh, yeah, another one.
Yes,
of them.
we do. We have another sheet.
Is there 3 of them? Or...
Yes, there are 3.
Oh, okay. I haven't got near it yet. I don't know which book you're referring
the
to.
big thick black one.
There are so many books.
Yep. The big thick black one and those cards.
Right, yes, they do kind of go together, don't they?
Yes, I now have a baby camera.
What? Pass me the baby.
Okay, here's the baby. Don't handle a real baby like that. So this next one is from... Sorry, I have stuff on my trousers. Jonathan Green, who is a new sponsor. And he has also very kindly invited us to Fighting Fantasy Fest, which I have not been able to make until now. And he is giving away 2 things from his latest publication. Neverland Here Be Monsters, but this is the limited edition, so it's all nice and black and hardback and all that. It's an adventure book, kind of based off Peter Pan, but it's got some other cool stuff in there as well. There's lots of dinosaurs in there, there's steampunk, especially with Peter. He's very steampunk, hence why he never grows up. There's stuff to do with the Titanic in there. I mean, why do you think Wendy got there in the first place? And there's also these really cool playing cards, which this is the regular cover as well, the two dinosaurs and Tiger Lily. In fact, beg your pardon, it's not a dinosaur. She's riding a saber-toothed tiger, a very, very massive one. So these
a number of the
are fantastic.
feature cards do actually have art from the book in,
Yes,
don't they?
they do. So they've got the characters. So Peter, Captain Hook, Wendy, and Tiger Lily are all playable characters, and they've all got different stats. And we also have a few bookmarks as well to throw in, so you've got all the stats, and they're full colour bookmarks as well. But yeah, game books like this, like different to Fighting Fantasy, are really taking off. This is one of them. There is another sponsor who is giving away some books that have not arrived yet, but once they arrive, we will let you know.
I know who you mean. Yes, one of the most famous names in the entire industry.
Yes.
Okay, so I picked up some bits from the prize shelf here. So these are going to get distributed in with other prizes from the same company. So we have 8 of these Iron Golem postcards, which is just a lovely bit of art, and then one.
We should probably say who's these are from.
Getting to it. It's a big
sorry.
reveal.
I'm so sorry.
So they also sent us this postcard, which is called the Whisperer. It's kind of like this sort of
There are loads of these Iron Golems.
type
There's
thing.
loads of these.
Yeah, there's 8 of them. I just
Hey,
counted.
I thought there were more. Oh,
Right. They also sent us some more art. So we've got 3 of these art pieces, which is Adeline, a limited edition art piece from 2013. So we've
Indeed.
got 3 of those. Now,
I know
all
what
of the-
RPG she's from.
And there's also this Chalice of Fate postcard. Now, all of those postcards and art pieces will be included in other prizes from the same sponsor. And the reason there's lots of art pieces is because this particular company produces very beautiful RPG books. In fact, just although it's unrelated to what we're doing tonight, just want to say they are about to do a Kickstarter in a couple of months of the prettiest RPG book I've ever seen. We saw it in French. We spoke about it last week. They're doing a Kickstarter for the English translation, and I personally am going to back it because it was genuinely the prettiest RPG book I've ever seen. It's a setting book for 5e. It's got some really cool, innovative ideas.
Yeah, it blew
are just
me
really
away.
fresh. But this company just does everything beautiful, and it is of course Studio Agate and Shadows of Esteron.
Yeah. So to clarify, these 2 postcards, which Becky held up, are from the new 5e setting book. The others, Adelaide and the Chalice. Beg your pardon, Adeline.
Adelaide is a city in Australia.
Yeah, but that's a French name as well. French female name, Adelaide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is my hands don't bend that way. From Shadows of Esteron, so they're slightly different in terms of art style, but of course very, very pretty. Now you've got a few smaller things there as well.
Yes, a couple of collection of short stories from the world of Shadows of Esteron.
AKA Esteron. That's the world, Esteron.
Oh, I see. So it's a book called Hauntings, and judging from the cover, I think it's probably quite a haunting tales within.
Well, for those of you who don't know Shadows of Esteron, it is mainly horror with dark fantasy.
I have always loved weird tales. Through the years, I have gathered legends handed down by Varigals, side by side with bardic fiction, inspired by rumours or real events. I could not resist writing one myself to share how my occultist vocation was born. The first collection gathers 5 stories. The common point is that they provide a glimpse of what Tree Kazillions imagines when they think about ghosts, possessions, and hauntings. Within these stories where truth and subjectively intertwine, maybe we can find clues that will allow us to better understand our world. Shadows of Esteron is a medieval world with a horrific and gothic influence, declined on several media. Pen and paper, role-playing game, music, and video game. I didn't know they did a video game.
Declined on several media.
I don't think they mean declined, do they? Or if they're saying declined, they mean it in a poetic way. But
well,
talking of different
yeah,
forms of media.
what they mean is, it's various forms of media in one, and
Yes.
is that
Here's one right now.
Yeah, so this is what first got me interested in Shadows of Esteren, their soundtrack, because when I first spotted them at the expo back when it was much smaller, can't believe I'm saying that, much smaller, they had just released their full orchestra soundtrack. It's not just some MIDI keyboard stuff, this is full live orchestra, obviously recorded and nicely done, which they did with a extremely good orchestra, and there are various tracks. I think there's 7 or 8 main ones and 4 bonus tracks, and you can put that on with your game and make the atmosphere go up to 100 with it.
Because, I mean, this is a company that just... I mean, talking about mixed media, this is Gastrono Geek. So we gave some of these away last year. They've given us some more this year, 3 more to give away.
They are recipes.
Yeah, recipes for cooking stuff. Now, AJ did actually say he cooked one of the things from it. He said it was quite nice. It was a good meal. French cuisine, French cooking, you know, because Studio Agate are a French
So, again,
company.
media, you can have your food before
Now,
you play and
What
stuff.
is this? Because I can't tell.
Well, I have one of these myself, actually.
Ah.
So I'm not so jealous that other people are getting it. This is a full-blown map of Esteren. Or rather, the bits of Esteren that we know. So, Tree-Kazel and everything around it. The 3 continents. It's really, really pretty, but again, it's all packaged up. I suppose I could get it down. My own copy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, but it is up there somewhere.
Let me grab these. I'll talk about these. So, of course, we... Oh, you've got one already. No.
No.
We are giving away books as well that actually deal with the game itself. Jason's more of the expert onto what these books are and what they mean, to be honest. Cause
can't find it.
because he does actually play and run Shadows of Esteren. So we've got these 2 Black Moon handbooks. What are these? Let's start with these.
So this is essentially, I mean, they've released quite a lot of
So pretty.
like setting books and modules, and to be honest, I don't know exactly what each of them are, but I believe this is to do with mainly the occultism side of things, hence the Black Moon. So the Demorthen are priests in the game, and I particularly enjoy them because it is obviously like a class, if you will, if you want to put it into layman's terms, but it's also a culture. It's a culture of one of the continents.
I've not opened this book before. I'm just randomly turning pages. This is how pretty Studio Agate's books are.
So you've got various characters in there which you can use for NPCs. What I love actually about all the different NPC type characters they put into their books is they're so detailed. They've got all this history, they've got huge amounts of stats, they've got these beautiful pictures to go with them. There's things like, for the GM if you like, you've got things like how to create more atmosphere, ghost hunting and things like that. There's a bit of sort of not rumours, but like little story snippets you can put in. There's things to do with exorcism.
I just randomly flicked page because this one isn't sealed, and I just randomly flicked some pages up on camera there for the audience to see. I have never opened this book before, and well, you guys saw how pretty it is. They are just leagues ahead in their presentation, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely amazing.
So we also have
and there's a bit of history as well. So, this one I do know what it is.
The Monastery of Tuath. Now, that's sealed because it's multiple things there.
Yes. So this is kind of like a mini campaign type thing. It's described as a large investigation scenario. So, quite a lot of these modules are investigative style things. Inspired by the name of the rose, and there's also various handouts in there as well that you as a GM can use, of course, which is really cute.
And then we've got Occultism, which again, it's sealed with a load of bits and pieces extra in addition to the book.
Yes. So, in fact, I have got I think I might have this book, or I've at least got the little bit that comes with it, which is another occultism type thing.
There's another book here that I could open, and I'm just flicking through. This is just so stunning.
This is my favourite because of the work they put into it, but also this is basically your handbook. There's three handbooks. There's your small one, which is your prologue, which gives you sort of atmospheric snippets of what it is. This is then your main book, which you use to create characters with, and this, that, and the other. But you do it in the most amazing, pretty way fashionable, or possible even. And then there's book 2, Universe, which is sort of more extensive. That we unfortunately don't have to give away.
That's Universe. Book 1.
Sorry, 1 Universe, and then there's 2, which is Journeys, I think.
Okay.
Which has got a slightly different cover. Yeah, Journeys we haven't got, unfortunately, but I highly recommend picking it up if you haven't done so already.
Yeah. So I think that's all of the Shadows of Esther and stuff.
It's so
like I said,
heavy.
It astounds me when and I think about all the RPG books I've looked at until I looked at their stuff. Like we've given away their stuff before, but I didn't properly look at it.
Why not?
Now that I have, it astounds me. It's just so beautiful. I'm definitely backing their new 5e setting book.
Yeah.
Without question. Even if I don't ever play in the setting.
That is not being given away, that's mine.
Even if I don't play in that setting, I still want the book because it's so pretty. But also it's just got such innovative ideas in it that I want to mine it for ideas.
Mm-hmm. We have some more books.
We do.
So, we have a couple that kind of fit together, but they are technically different companies. We have a copy of The Black Hack. I don't know why I held it to the mic, because that's not the camera. The Black Hack, which...
Yeah, I've played The Black Hack. It is a really fantastic old-school style game. So it's a bit like first edition, only they made it work mechanically. And it's got lovely little touches, like ammunition, for example. When you expend an arrow, and let's say you've got... And they do it in dice size. So let's say you've got D10... arrows, and you expend an arrow, you roll your d10. If you get a 1, you go down a die size, so then you're rolling a d8. If you get a 1, you go down to d6 until you get to a d4. That means you're almost out of ammo, and then you get that 1 and you've run out.
As it says, old school fantasy gaming with modern rules.
Yeah, and it really is that. I was quite enjoying the system.
It's a sample tavern. Very cool.
Yeah.
Quick references, there's various tables for hirelings and things like that. It's got your
It's
classes.
a neat old school style game.
Yeah, so if you're into your OSR, this could be yours.
Yeah.
But if you don't win the Black Hack, you could always win the Cthulhu Hack. That is not dead, which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. In a white box, apparently. Because this is the box, so kind of like the red box, if you will. It's the complete core game. So it's got the books. It basically it's a standalone system. Obviously, investigation, similar style to regular Call of Cthulhu, but this has got ready to play investigators. It's got it's got an adventure in there as well called Save Innsmouth.
Cool.
Plus various other things, and double-side dry white character record cards. That's pretty good.
That's a neat idea
To go into the box.
This is actually by the guy who wrote this is married to the woman who runs All Rolled Up. So
Indeed,
together they are just Crunch Games. So it's kind of from them, but also he's sort of his own thing, but also it's kind of all tied in.
Also, I find it really cool that this design on the back here is also available as an All Rolled Up, which I happen to own.
Oh, right.
So if you want a Cthulhu All Rolled Up, then they've got one. We're also throwing in this really awesome little book of investigations that goes with Cthulhu Hack called Mother's Love. Out of corruption, horrid life springs, and the dull scavengers of earth wax crafty to vex it and swell monstrous to plague it. Things have learnt to walk that ought to crawl.
Cool. And that says investigations.
Yes, there are various investigations. Let's have a look. Ooh, congratulations, the stars are right. This has been signed by Paul. I did not realise he'd signed it. I must have forgotten. So there are 5 authors in here. Let's see. Is there a contents page? I don't think there is, but never mind. There is Deep Roots. I did see another one in there.
So you're getting 5 adventures in that book, and of course you'll get the one in the box set as well.
Yep, Gifts of
really cool.
Flesh. I
can't say that word.
Gan teacher.
We need to catch up on the chat.
Yes, we do. Let's put those away. Oh, I forgot to say the thing. Never mind. Let's go back up. Morb said, any tips on transferring the bulk coinage of a dragon's hoard for us penny pincher types?
So why we've not got that message on screen?
Yes, because I accidentally skipped it.
Oh,
that was
right.
My bad.
Okay. Sorry, what was the question again then? Sorry.
It was, any tips on transferring the bulk coinage of a dragon's hoard for us penny pincher types?
Okay, I think to talk about that, we need to get some cups out of the way.
Yes. That was not a euphemism.
We'll come back to talking about prizes for Con+2 in a bit. Let's talk about RPGs for a few minutes.
Shall we maybe move him out of the way as well? Or them?
Yeah. Apparently I can't do it one-handed. Next to all those coffee cups. I'll try again. It's a big model.
It is a big model.
Can't believe
You'll spend
they gave us one
forever
to give
painting
away.
it.
Well, it didn't take that long to paint mine.
Oh, did you not? Okay.
No, it's relatively
just
simple.
so huge. Anyway.
Okay, so here we have a dragon and its hoard. And the thing is, when I saw what was that? The Smaug film, with the second one. What did they call the second one? Yes, it was in The Hobbit.
Desolation of
Smaug. That was it. And I saw the gold hoards. I just wanted my miniatures to be like that as well, because like it used to be like I had a couple of these sort of treasure piles. Actually, that's washed out under the light. I'll just bring it down a bit, or turn it off even. So I had
that actually looks a bit better.
I had a couple of these in my collection, and I just thought I need more. I needed to look like Smaug's lair, so I went and got a load. And sadly, the firm that makes these big piles is no longer trading. And what's going on?
I'm just getting this up because I like the look of it.
Yeah, now. I'm glad you went straight to one of those, because some of my favourite treasure piles... That's not in focus. Do you want to put it down on the flat surface? Yeah. And I'll get the camera close. Some of my favourite treasure piles are by a company called Thomarillion. This is one of them. Hopefully that's coming out okay. It looks... we're seeing a very small preview here, and it looks a little blurry even on that. So...
it's just so detailed, but slightly cute looking.
Yeah, Thomarillion stuff is... It's all really beautifully done. Can we... Yeah. Anyway, I really love their stuff, and they are still trading. So
yes,
you can head there right now. They're also supporting us, sponsoring us this year.
Yes, they are. But to answer Lord Morbius's question,
when you've got a hoard that big, how do you cart it out? And the reality, I think, if you're going to put a dragon's lair in an adventure, I don't think you should be able to cart it out, because the moment you do, it's a game-breaking amount of gold anyway. Your players can afford anything, and that's, I think, problematic in terms of your adventure. Not that players you don't necessarily need to have money as a constraining resource in your game. I mean, frankly, you deal with that enough in the real world, want to get away from it. But to make the players so super rich that they can just roll in and buy kingdoms, that's a problem. So I would say, from a GM's perspective, don't give the players solutions to carting away all the stuff. They're going to get rich enough just by nicking some of the magic items and things. But that was one of the things I wanted to raise, actually. And if we just get briefly on the camera here again.
Sure.
You can see, if I can get this camera close enough, that, and we might need to put the light on to highlight it, this dragon has a palantir. And that's a point just I wanted to make about... Oh, sorry. Go on. Do your pointy. There we go, just there. Little tiny palantir. And I wanted to put that in the scene before I set that up today, because so often with dragon hoards, we're guilty of You're doing a Saruman bit.
Of course I'm doing a Saruman. How can you not? It's a Palantir. I mean,
You know,
I know
I
there
do
are
have-
more than just the one he has, but it's never shown.
I know, I got 2 minis of Palantirs, and they're slightly different bases on each one.
Yes.
So, hi James, welcome
Hello,
back.
James Breeden.
So the point I wanted to raise is that whilst a dragon cannot use a lot of magic items, there are some that it can, so you should know what these magic items are before you go in, because something like a Palantir, I think, is ideal for a dragon. Like, it just knows all about the adventurers the moment they arrive, and therefore knows their strengths and weaknesses, because it watched them adventure up to it, because it foresaw that the adventurers would arrive in its Palantir, and maybe it knows even the outcome of the battle, and it knows it will die, and you know, it might come up with statements like "not here, it's not the right time" type thing, and you know, that kind of thing.
Scott has a question about one of the prizes.
Okay, but I'm still answering Lord Morbius's
Sorry,
question.
I thought you'd
The
finished your
point
sentence.
is, the magic items is how you cart away the wealth from a dragon hoard. Those big star items, which of course is exactly what you do at Con+2. You go for those star items.
Yes.
Sorry, what's Scott's question?
Scott's question is, would that Peter Pan be a good setting for young players? Yeah, so basically, if you think of, you know, fighting fantasy, skill, stamina, luck, it's that sort of level. So adults can, of course, read it themselves, and in terms of the story, it's maybe a bit more complex than regular Peter Pan, but with things like mechanics, you've just got agility, combat, endurance, and a few special abilities. So I wouldn't recommend this for really young kids, but in terms of, like, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, yes, I think they could very much.
I totally
do
do
this.
recommend it for really young kids, because the adult can do the adventure with the child and be playing. The adult could be playing the game and just reading it as part of the bedtime story every
Oh, well,
night.
yes, I agree, but as in if they wanted to actually play it independently.
Because frankly, little children are frustrating, and you need to get your gaming in when you can.
Oh, said I've been subscribed for over a year now. Can't believe you stream every Friday and I've been missing it. Well, we have been streaming for how long now every Friday?
We've only been doing it every Friday since this month.
No, it's been a month and a half at least now, maybe a couple of
streaming
months.
weekly for a couple of months.
Yeah, whereas
we're now doing it fixed on a Friday.
Yeah, whereas before it was sort of on and off.
We did kind of
here
go
and
quiet
there.
a bit. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Life happened.
Yes.
There was a lot on for us, and you know, it was good, good things. But you know, meant we
Very
weren't
good
on
things.
YouTube so much. And then we decided that we'd put more effort into the channel, because we want to build it up
Yes.
to raise more money for charity, because that's what we do with this channel. And you know, all these prizes that we're giving away for free to you have been given to us by 57 sponsors in the industry, and our friends and contacts in the industry. 57 companies have got behind us to give these prizes away, to get you to come watch our telethon, where we're going to raise money for a really amazing gaming related charity called the Butterfly Project, that you can find out all about on our website con+2.live.
Check out the description.
Because we want to do a good job of that, and because to do it part-time and occasional videos here and there would not do it justice, we are now committed every week. We're here streaming on a Friday.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about how we could do weekly content, and you know, the old POG videos, those sort of 10-minute videos that are really heavily produced, very edited, sometimes big scenery set up, sometimes we go out and film a bit of history. They are too much to produce every week.
Yeah, for
do
our
it.
schedules, we just can't.
But we can do this. We can sit and talk about RPGs. This week we're going through all the physical prizes that we currently have for the convention, but more often than not we just pick a few subjects and we talk RPGs with you guys.
Although I've just realised that because of the wall design, it looks like I've got a really big hair doing that, and it's the wall.
Luckily it's not as animated as you are. Phil says, I got one last year, not cooked anything yet. Oh, that would be the
gastronomics. Gastronomico.
No, yeah.
Ronnie is
like,
late to the party.
Yeah, that's terrible because I actually messaged you a link to this just before we went live, Ronnie. So I'm disappointed in you as a friend.
But thank you for the
Kidding,
little card game, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. It looks very similar to
Yes.
to Star Realms. So
Well, it is Cthulhu Realms.
yes, yeah, it's got a lot of the same
Okay.
mechanics. So thank you very much for that. Sorry about the whole mix-up with the French version, which, anyway, not going to talk about that on air because nobody else needs to
No.
know about.
Everyone's saying hi to
sending
each other. Here we go. Right.
All right.
You can
So-
read the next one.
I'm trying to work out how to say Sezrekan
Well, I've been
Eldar's
calling
name.
them Says.
Well, it's polite to read people's names out.
Yes,
So,
but I mean, they were referred to that in the chat, so
yes,
but says Rakan Eldar.
Sezrekan Eldar. Yes.
Says Rakan Eldar.
I use gold in place of XP. I wonder if you watched my how to handle loot video I did years ago on this channel. Because that's something I used to do. I did it in the first Brawlers campaign that you're now in. We're not doing it in the second one, but that I literally would, I'd give gold to the players, and then when the players wanted to level up, I did this ritual where they had to basically sacrifice the gold. They'd sleep on it, cut blood from their body, drip that on the gold, and then sleep on it, and then the gods would come down in the night and take the gold, and they'd level up.
I assume this is all like theatre of the imagination, right?
Yeah, I didn't make the players do it, but
Theatre
I
of
did make
mind.
them actually collect the coins and stuff, and then they'd move the coins around. It was a ritual you could do for power, because it was all kind of dark and twisted. Anyway, I'll read the rest of the question. Fighters need training and weapons armor repair. Wizards need... Sorry, I can't read from back there. Wizards need magic experiment resources. Thieves pay guild dues, and clerics have to make donations to the church, etc.
These
I
pay
mean,
guild dues. Well, I
Well,
suppose the good
there's-
ones do.
there's often a thieves guild in cities, which is really just mafia.
Yes, but I can see that being a bit like Spider-Man not ever paying the rent. And it's like, you know, you're getting all these jobs, we want our commission. Oh, yeah, I'll come. Or like Han Solo with, yeah, I'll get you the money. That could actually be a quite interesting storyline.
But yeah, no, I think gold is a great way to manage XP in games if you want your players to have control over leveling, because what they can do is they can move gold around between players. So it gives the players agency to control that stuff themselves. And I personally, when I did that, I did it literally as one gold piece is worth 1 XP point. And whatever mechanism you use for taking the gold off the players in your story, I don't think it matters too much what the mechanism is, that's just setting tone. But it's quite a good way to manage the amount of XP players get. You just tie it into the loot, and then when they go buying stuff, they're kind of sacrificing power, and so the players want to hoard the gold, and then it gets the gold out of the game as well. So never get too rich. And you read this one.
Yeah, so Scott says about Peter Pan, going to DM for my son and his friends as soon as they're old enough. Thank you for that reply. You're welcome. Yeah, it looks really cool. As I said, I've got my own copy. I've got one of the regular covers, but I'm really looking forward to reading it. But it's annoying because I've got that. I've got Destiny Quest to finish reading. I've got, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's up there, The Demon Sorcerer, which is a self-published game book as well. As I said, there are loads of new game books coming out that are not fighting fantasy. That's something else entirely.
It's getting its whole convention just for fighting fantasy now, and presumably that's going to include other game books, is it? Or is that just fighting
I
fantasy?
think it might just be fighting fantasy, but Jonathan Green has written some fighting fantasy books.
Okay.
One of which I've just finished. Howl of the Werewolf. It was very good. Ryan says, tomorrow I'll be running a one-shot of Dune for free RPG Day at my local game store.
Awesome.
Awesome. I missed RPG
I will
Day.
not be doing free RPG
Yeah,
Day
it's
this
her
year.
fault.
I'll be watching Le Mans.
It's Le Mans. Says Rakan Eldar, says, not my real name, my wizard name. You're a wizard, says Rakan. Says, is sufficient. There you go.
Yes, but I try.
Yes.
It's the polite thing to do.
Yes. There you go. It was not just an unbelievable coincidence. You gave me the
Well, it's a
idea.
great video, that one, but people do moan about it occasionally because there's music in it, and it can sometimes be hard to hear what I say, apparently. But then my audio skills were never very good back in the old days. Hopefully hopefully, with the new mic, we've now finally cracked it.
I thought you were going to
these
say
days they
because of
can't.
me being an audiophile. And editing sound and stuff.
When you edit the sound on the videos, it's brilliant, far better than I can
thank
do.
you. I wouldn't say it was.
And
really
also,
good.
the suggestions you made, not just on sound, but on the video for our horror, how to GM a horror game. You made that video awesome.
Well, horror is probably
so-
my favourite RPG.
So
genre.
well done you for that. But the reason our sound quality is better on live streams now is
Yes.
hardware.
Yes, absolutely, I agree.
We finally bought it.
This big stick just. It's
We've
amazing.
got some more roll for initiative stuff
We
to look
do. Are you alright with
at.
those?
Oh, fuck me, they're heavy.
Well, if you
Okay.
lift them up with one hand, yes, they are quite heavy.
Yes. So, we've got 2 boxes there.
Shall we do the little things first, maybe?
Well, these kind of go with it. So
Okay,
that
well,
one
let's-
comes with these 2 things.
Which one are we talking
the
about? here?
hex one.
The
The hex one comes with these 2 things.
Right.
Because hexes are often used in sci-fi games. So this is a really cool idea. These are they're kind of like a wooden jigsaw with a hex print on them, and then we also have a similar one with a square print on them, but with a dungeon tile type paint scheme. And they're a really cool way of doing a gaming mat, because quite often with a gaming mat, like if you roll out a bit of paper, you draw your stuff on, but it's in every time the players move, you've got to draw again. With tiles, you can draw the pieces in the shape you want that fits the occasion.
Beforehand.
And, of course, because they're small sections, you can just flip them over and then reveal traps that way and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, of course, they're all
traps
dry
or-
erase and everything else, and you can use permanent markers, it's all fine.
Traps or ambushes or whatever your creativity
Yeah, they're
lets
just a
you
really cool
create.
thing. They're given to us by Roll for Initiative, who gave us these painted minis we showed
miniatures.
at the start of the stream. Now, these hex set there, there's how many tiles there? 33 tiles in that hex set.
Yes.
They're going to come with these sci-fi, they're kind of like what would you call these?
There's a few. There's
Sticker-
not just sci-fi.
Yeah, vinyl stickers. Yeah. So they're going to come with these vinyl sticker sheets. Loads of sci-fi stuff on them.
This is actually technically called Future Industrial, but it could work in
is.
sci-fi.
And this is spaceship. Well, it says future. It's future.
Well,
industrial.
yeah. But as in
And
it
then we've
could
got
be
this
cyberpunk,
spaceship
you know.
sheet of decals. So you can stick these onto some of your tiles and make them look pretty and spaceshipy or future industrially. And the dungeon theme set we're giving away with these. They've got this nature themed set, which is pretty cool. And then there's this crypt themed set. So that's essentially like Dungeoneering Light. It's a really cool way of doing a miniatures game.
Yes.
Quickly, easily, conveniently, and without taking up your entire gaming room with shelves and shelves of miniatures. And I'm feeling quite guilty at the moment.
Can you put this back over that side? Because I'm running out of room.
Is that full? Is that okay?
Says some thieves waste their gold on courtesans, booze, and drugs.
Courtesans.
Sorry, courtesans. It's my accent. It's not my
We
fault.
got another big box.
Can you also move?
Okay, this is also from Reaper. I think I'm holding it upside. Oh my god, this is heavy. Right.
Yes, you are.
It's going to cost a fortune.
I
to
have
post, isn't it?
mentioned this before, but for those
okay.
who have just joined us,
So
Apologies.
Reaper Miniatures are backing us again this year. Last year they sent stuff straight to the kids at the Butterfly Project. This year they're giving us some stuff to generate donations. So this is Dragons Don't Share, and the reason we got this is because our friend and contactor Reaper, there's a guy called Kit, and this is his favourite Reaper model. The reason it's his favourite is because he loves the character of it. You not only get a big dragon, but you get scenery and a load of adventurers as well, all in one box.
I mean, do you actually need a reason to say how awesome it is?
It does look like a lovely set, I have to say.
This is what it looks like. What suggested paint? I'm trying not to knock the mic though, so that's why it's slightly off center.
So another huge box from Reaper. Now that's... Oh, do I need to put it over here somewhere?
Would you mind? Thank you, darling.
Alright. Okay.
Scott Poe says, that's not waste. I can't remember. I think we're quite far back through the chat, or I've got a short-term memory.
I don't remember who sent us this. I think it was Roll for Initiative, but it might be
Oh, as in Says was saying about the drugs and stuff was waste.
Oh, I see. Do you remember if this was Roll for Initiative, or is this Loki?
I believe this is Loki.
I thought it might be Roll for Initiative, but I wasn't sure.
Alright, well, I've got it in my spreadsheet, so...
Okay.
But I don't know the top of my head. Yes, I believe this is Loki. I believe it is.
We'll have to check their products on their websites and be sure.
But this is a rollout map of just blank stones. Like, really nice, bold. Again, it's packaged, so we can't really get it out. Quite thick material as well.
Yeah, it's good quality stuff. We also have... now, I kind of ought to sort these out beforehand, really.
Okay, well, I was going to say, I could look at the chat if you
Yes,
want to
you
do
catch
that.
up on chat.
Okay. Says, I know, right? Well, then they have to keep the local authorities bribed. Of course they do. Bribed to look the other way and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you could have a city or a region or a culture where drugs, for example, or certain drugs are legal, or some weird custom, something very specific is not, and you can make it all rich and stuff. I'm going off on a tangent with that. But yes, I agree in that, no, it's not waste, it depends how you use them. Russell Higgins, hello!
Hi, Russell.
We were just talking about you on our patron list.
Okay.
Dragon's Den Share, that is a great set.
Now,
an awesome set, he says.
We now have some more stuff from Reaper. So, we've got here a spirit. All right, so a spirit model. It's one of the translucent sets, so you know you can paint up a bit of the model, keep some of it translucent. It looks really, really awesome.
It's very green.
Then comes with 3 skeleton archers in a set, and 3 zombies. Now, we then have another set of exactly that, right? And I'm building to something here. And then we have another set of exactly that, right? Then we have 2 sets of liches. So we have basically 3 sets of all the stuff, then 2 with a lich. One is going to get something else, which we don't yet physically have here. Yep. This is all part of a big multi-sponsor giveaway. So this is the first part of it to arrive from Reaper. So Reaper are providing the miniatures for what will be a big dungeon set giveaway. So we're going to give away these dungeon sets. They'll come with some decor from D&B Games. So dungeon sets and decor from D&B Games. These will be resin dungeons. Not the like so often you get with these sets, the plaster that can chip and break and damages over time. These will be proper resin dungeons, the kind of stuff that I use, the kind of stuff that's over there, only his stuff looks a bit better than that. It is good stuff. And because I didn't make that very well, as you can tell, this one is one that I made by hand myself, and consequently it looks a little bit wonky because it is. So I painted it up like the Underdark, so it gets away with it. But no, you'll be getting properly professionally made dungeons from D&B Games with some decor. That's what they said. They're actually still we're sorting out exactly what they're going to send. That's what we think it's going to be. Reaper are providing miniatures, and Thomarillion, my favourite dungeon decor shop ever, are going to provide some vouchers so that you can add even more decor and maybe change it to a theme of your choice by putting other stuff in it.
Russell Higgins has a question about this amazing set.
Oh, the one that we've physically got here in the studio. That's one I made.
Oh right, I wasn't sure if he meant the
one
price
we're going to
set.
be giving away is going to come from DMB Games. We're still sorting out exactly
Which one?
What it'll be, but you know, he's been absolutely amazing. I know Andy from DMB Games has been like quite ill in recent times, and like we do wish him all the best in his ongoing recovery. He's a great guy, and just want to thank him so much for sponsoring us, because like and for agreeing to do it as part of a multi-sponsor giveaway, so we could make it this amazing prize with Reaper and Thomarillion coming in on the same prize as well. I think it's going to be the star prize, and Maldrakar as well from Reaper, and Dragons Don't Share, and like we do have more stuff that we haven't shown yet.
yeah, we've got more stuff. There's nothing else in that box though, is there?
There's nothing else in that box, no. Then we've been through all that.
Apologies for the noise.
The last of it that we physically have here, or is
I
there more
think
stuff here?
so. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, sorry for the noise.
So this is the last thing that we'll be showing today in terms of prizes for Con+2. This is not the limit of the prizes.
Mm-hmm. No,
this is
not all
just
of
the
them.
stuff that we have already got here physically right now.
Yes.
The convention itself will be in October. There will be hundreds of prizes. It will be the largest RPG prize giveaway in history, asterisk.
Mm-hmm. So firstly, we have these bookmarks. Age of Sigmar bookmarks from Cubicle 7.
Right, and those will be going in...
Well, there's two things. First, we are giving away Adventures in Middle-earth, the Player's Guide, and also the Lore Master's Guide.
Yeah, so that'll be going out as a pair with one of the bookmarks. So that's just one prize.
Mm-hmm.
And a big kind of double Middle-earth prize. I mean, that's
Yeah,
one of our
for
big
those of you-
prizes. It's awesome.
Because there's two systems that Cubicle 7 have done for Lord of the Rings. This is one of them, and I highly recommend it because, for one thing, it's 5e rules, but also they're very solid rules, because I've played in a campaign before. There's also the One Ring, if you prefer a more story-driven as opposed to, 5e. But I really like Adventure in Middle-earth, so this is a great prize. But there is also the highly awaited and me getting super excited book. I can't remember what the noun was to use. The new 4th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, going back to the roots. So not Age of Sigmar, to avoid confusion. This is...
There's something else about that book.
Oh, yes! It is signed by CEO Dom, who we have also interviewed once again this year. But yes, it goes back to the roots. So Warhammer 1st and 2nd edition with refined rules. They've added new bits in, and we talk about it in the interview, and it's really awesome. If you've never played old Warhammer before, I'm not a big old school person because I'm a bit young, but Warhammer, I love it. It's such a good system. It's brutal, so if you're into D&D, it's going to take a little while to get used to, but definitely play this before you die.
It's very grim.
It's grim,
gritty setting.
Yeah, exactly. Gritty. There is some magic in there, but I love the system. I love the career system, how you advance, and I could just talk about this for ages. I better not. But, yeah.
You can for a bit, because I think, I'm actually starting to drip with sweat. So I was going to go and get a drink.
Okay.
And stuff. So feel free to talk about Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay or anything else our audience wants to talk about for RPGs. I will be back in about 2-3 minutes, something like that.
Okay, can I have some water,
You want
please?
water as well?
Yes. So yes, definitely leave your questions in the chat so I can give you some wisdom and things like that. But yes, Russell says, I need some sewers to go in my The Blight campaign. I'm not sure if that's published or if that's something you've made up yourself, but it sounds cool. Yeah, so I don't know how late you joined us, but we do have some maps that do have sewers in them that we're giving away from Loki Battle Mats, and there's also some extra sort of sheets that have sewers in. Sewers are really cool because you can use them in lots of different settings. Obviously there's fantasy, but then also there's modern, gothic if you like. Lots of horrible, nasty things hiding in there. Warhammer as well. Quite big on that. You get lots of Skaven that hide in there, which are like the rat creatures and all that stuff. Yeah, they're really cool. So with things like terrain, yeah, you do need stuff like that. So donate, attend our convention, and you may just get them. Oh yes, Scott, that is a Monty Hall, yeah. And again, this is not everything, and this is just the physical stuff. There's plenty of PDFs to give away, some things we've confirmed, some things we haven't, some things we're still talking about. For example, Sly Flourish has backed us once again, giving away a bucket load of his Return to Lazy DM, which I highly recommend. Really got me back into DMing. And not just fancy stuff either, but Cthulhu and things. It's perfectly suitable for any system really, so if D&D's not your thing, doesn't matter. Also his setting books as well, so fantastic adventures, fantastic locations. What else have we got? We've got so much stuff. We have got some PDFs coming from Angry Hamster Publishing, which are long-time backers, so thank you so much once again for backing us this year. We have got Onyx Path Publishing backing us once again this year, and it was great because I got to meet more of them, like more of the group this year at the expo. But we interviewed Steffi Devan talking about her new Kickstarter coming out in October, which is called Legends of Lore. And we're also giving away, again, a bucket ton of PDFs of various different RPGs and RPG settings that Onyx Path do. So I think those are the big ones I can think of off the top of my head. Again, there's a lot of this to go through because there's just so many prizes. It's crazy. So yeah. The Middle-earth books are lovely, yes. Let me just get them back out again. I've only got the PDF. But yeah, they are beautiful. So they've got these maps in here. So kind of like with the One Ring, they sort of focus on Wilderland. There are other things as well, like you've got Lake Town, I believe. In terms of how it works with things like classes and stuff, you have, for example, your Elves of Mirkwood, so one culture. You've got the Lake Town folk, the Bjornings. You can even play Dunedain if you want. I played in this campaign, I believe it was a scholar as a class, but he was a man of Gondor, so you can play Gondor, Rohan, all that awesome stuff. So, you know, familiar if you like Lord of the Rings, but the way they've sort of put it in is really good. Hello. Come join me.
I'm bearing water.
How
so hot
wonderful. It is hot in here. The books are really nicely laid out, by the way, which is something I love about Cubicle 7's books in general. Doesn't matter what system you pick up. It's easy to find stuff, to reference things. The art is really pretty. It's very clear. And Kitty possibly got her tail caught on a wire there. That was a bit worrying. Lore Master's Guide. Kitty. I love the front cover of this with the tree and the hobbits. And yeah, lo and behold, there, is Lake Town.
To climb over all the prizes.
There is Lake Town. So yeah, and again to reiterate, the winner gets both of the books.
And a bookmark.
And a bookmark. So you are not without one or the other, because, you know, it's 2 books. Why should we just give you the one? Because then you're only half done. And then, of course, there's Warhammer, which I really like. Anyway, so yeah, Warhammer, or how we make our fantasy setting deeply, deeply dark and deadly. Yeah, I really like it. There's a little bit of gothic fantasy in old Warhammer. You've got your Germanic style names of cities and towns. But again, the careers, like, you don't start off as some larger-than-life thing. You're about to press a button, aren't you?
We need to. The chat's disconnected.
Okay.
We'll be right back in 3 seconds.
There we go. Yeah, you don't start off with your larger-than-life stuff. You don't start off as a fighter or a paladin or a wizard or something cool like that. You start off as a barber or a rat catcher. Or maybe a bounty hunter, if you've got enough money and things like that. You start off with these really low...
Yeah, it's
sort
the
of jobs.
ordinary person type thing, which is something I did with my own stuff as well. Because one thing about D&D with that, you start off heroic. Like level 1, you're actually very powerful. You've already got an action economy there and stuff, and it's a different kind of game. It's a very fantasy and over the top kind of game. Whereas I quite like having an ordinary person type character because it gets more role playing out from
absolutely.
at the
Because
table.
when I first looked at it, I'm thinking, how on earth does that work as a character? Because I'm so used to D&D. But then when you think about it and delve into, okay, where did the character come from? Like, why has he got this job? Or why has she got this job? And things like that. You start to think of it in a different way outside the mechanics and stuff. And also, by far, it is my favourite magic system.
Okay.
I love it. It's more chaotic, so things can go wrong. If you roll badly with your percentile, then it can cause various stuff to happen. I love the way how they use materials as well. There's more emphasis on that and crafting and making stuff with that. But also with the careers in general, you feel this real sense of growth. So yes, you do eventually get super powerful, but emphasis on eventually. There's normally sort of 3 tiers, maybe there's 4.
Yeah. But of course, it's an RPG. You can start at high level if you want to do the heroic over the top stuff. But it gives you that option of doing that more horror-filled game. Because if ever you want to do a horror game, even in fantasy, you can do it. But you can't do it with a hero.
No.
If the players are heroes,
unless you want
any
comedy.
hope of horror goes out of the window. But you can do horror with fantasy just by making ordinary people characters. So yes, Warhammer is one of the systems that's good for that.
Lots of horror stuff, lots of undead, and
Yeah.
it's got many things going on. Anyway, I'll stop talking about Warhammer. It is a superb system, though. Yes, Ronnie. And Phil likes Warhammer as well. This is cool because I kind of want to run something at some point. Russell says, you are definitely a Gore-Tex or a Snorri. I don't know what those things are.
Well, Snorri's a dwarf name.
Oh, okay.
So I'm guessing Gore-Tex must be a dwarf? It sounds more orcish in tone. I don't know.
I feel personally attacked.
We're often on the spot when we're live streaming because I can't just look something up and appear knowledgeable.
No.
I have to rely on my actual knowledge.
The Blight is a Frog God Games product.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had heard of the Blight. I know you mentioned it just as I was leaving the room. I've not played it though.
Hello, Fuke! Fuke is at work once again, but is on break. How is everyone? Alberta representing.
Hell yeah, the best barista in Alberta.
Is Fuke a barista? I wasn't
Yes.
sure. Okay.
Fuke is a barista.
In that case, yes, you are amazing at your job. I bet you do those
Well,
awesome
I assume so. It's just
milk
the best.
flour things.
it's just the best because it's awesome.
And damn
we
work,
love Fuke.
internet sucks. Apparently, internet in Alberta is not too good.
I thought you said internet socks, and it suddenly reminded me I'm wearing your nerd socks today.
That is my face. You
Yeah,
almost hit.
but nerd socks.
Yes.
That are technically yours.
Yes, they are mine.
Because I just don't see socks as being gendered, and as far as I'm concerned, there's no boundaries on that.
No, but I am quite possessive about my socks.
Yes. Sorry.
They're kind of like my t-shirts. You know,
Well, I
it's
don't
like...
wear your t-shirts.
Well, no,
They're
no.
different size.
But yeah, they
That's
express
kind
my
of the only
personality.
thing stopping me.
Anyway, says Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG is where my name comes from. Key.
Okay.
Makes sense. That's another old school game. I don't have it anymore. I did sell it because
One of the things I love about our audience is all the different systems they play.
Yeah.
And it's
Big
not
variety.
just D&D, because like
Actually, there's hardly any D&D. There's
I know.
a little bit, but yeah.
And you know, so often we talk about D&D because it's the common ground that it's just so convenient when explaining something to explain it in a D&D context, and then everyone can translate to their own system from there.
Yeah, people are more likely to know what it is.
But it does emphasize the point that we need to do more conventions to play more systems, and also remember what the hell it is we're playing, because that's one thing I'm terrible for. I've played so many games and have no idea what they actually were.
You don't know what we're playing right now.
Well, I know what we're playing right now, but like when we go, like I've been to conventions before, but I've tried things and I haven't actually bothered to make a note of what the system was.
Oh, you silly
I've
Billy!
played dozens and dozens of RPGs without knowing what they actually were. It's a convention. You just turn up, you do an adventure.
Says, love the level 0 peasant funnel. I use it for 5e. Also, my 5e wizard should always roll for magic because magic should be mysterious. I agree. I am currently playing a wizard in Becky's campaign because I thought, right, I've never played a wizard because I've never really liked the 5e wizard because you got to know so many spells and then you prepare them and all this stuff. So I thought, okay.
There is a mechanic I dislike, the preparing spells, because the wizard is supposed to be the versatile class with loads of spells. And the moment you do this whole preparing thing, you're actually taking away that versatility.
Well, yeah, because you're literally going off nothing. It's like, well, I've got magic missile, I've got light. Which ones do I prepare? You're never going to know unless the GM says, well, you're going to have a cave encounter. You're going to have this encounter. Oh, right, yes. Well, no, it doesn't happen, does it?
Sometimes you can prepare for an encounter. Like, you know you're going off into a segment where
yeah,
you're going to meet the boss or something. I think
that might be where it comes from, surely, with, like, old school stuff of, okay, we're going into a dungeon, so I need these spells.
But, like, in old school games, like, people would do things like camp in the corridor outside the boss's room for 8 hours and things. No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. In terms of if I do like D&D magic stuff, I much prefer the sorcerer because it comes from talent. So you have so many spells that you choose what you want, and that's it. You know them. Great. And then okay, you can run out, but you know. I've always
preferred wisdom casters where you don't even have to worry about spell books. But I like the idea of the wizard not getting every spell and having to collect them. And,
yes.
You know, and
yes, that's cool.
And I like, it's a scroll, and I'll stitch that into my spellbook, or I'll just cast this page of my spellbook as if it's the scroll. That's awesome.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
It's the preparing step that I don't like, and I kind of want to remove that from D&D, but the moment you do, of course, you're changing the game balance and you're making the wizard more powerful.
Yeah.
So you've then got to take something away.
I think that was the issue with 3.5, in that the wizard was crazy powerful after a bit.
It's always been the problem in D&D. Like, you go back to first edition, the wizard is hopeless at first level, but beyond, I think, if I'm going from memory now because it's quite a long time since I did first edition, but I think it's like once you get beyond about 9th level, or certainly 12th, the wizard starts creeping forward in power so much more than the melee classes, and it's just this godlike creature in the game. But then first edition was horrendously unbalanced.
Yes. Fiuk is curious as to how Eldar does that thing with wizards in 5e.
Yeah, making them roll. Well, maybe that is one mechanism for nerfing the wizard in order giving them the power of removing that whole prepared thing. It might be a good fix. So I'll be interested to hear what says about that.
But also level 0 peasants.
Yeah, I mean, I did. My AFA game starts the same way. You don't play a class at all. You get a profession, and it could be anything, because I did a lot of research on that and I have like every possible job ever, from a fantasy era. So yeah, and I much prefer that that kind of role play, because it makes. I find that the moment you make it heroic with D&D, that kind of you are a hero, people don't roleplay as well.
No.
If you keep it grounded in ordinary people, people will roleplay those people better. But at the same time, there is something to be said for being a bit heroic from time to time.
Yeah. Fuchs says where they work, it's a donut coffee sandwich shop. It's Tim Hortons, more fast food than Batista. I have heard of Tim Hortons, but we don't have that over here.
I have no idea what a Tim Hortons
I wonder
is.
if it's like Greg's.
Oof.
Maybe better than Greg's? I'm assuming it's better than
I'm
Greg's.
far too southern to enjoy Greg's.
Greg's is... Yes, you can get coffee, you can get sandwiches, you can get pastries.
Every time I've tried to have something in
but
Greg's, it's just been cold and rank.
It's sort of cheap, lunchy stuff, basically. And Ryan says, I agree, which is why I'm running Toon rather than some of the more usual games, just to show there is far more than D&D out there.
You always say that, Ronnie, because you refuse to run D&D.
He is playing in D&D with us, though, to be fair.
He has a passionate hatred for it. But then I used to be a bit the same towards D&D, to be honest. I avoided it for years. Yeah, for years I just didn't want to play. What I really hated was the stupid mechanics. Because first and second edition had ridiculous rules like Thaco and the AC worked backwards.
I've never quite got Thaco, really.
I know how to do it, it's just stupid. It was terrible design.
Right, I need to take a leak.
Okay,
Would you
so
like to
I'm going
do the chat for a moment?
Yes, I'll have to swap seat
Oh,
because
my
I struggle
legs.
to read from back there. So, right, says is talking to a Fuke. The rules are more like guidelines. If they crit fail, there are side effects like catching their shoes on fire or going blind for D4 minutes. I think if I was going to do that, I'd like to come up with a more formal system and something that balances the whole prepared spells thing. Because the one thing about critical fails is they can be too extreme. You have to bear in mind, a critical fail happens 5% of the time. So if you imagine it for a moment with archers. I did a video on this years ago. But imagine a unit of archers facing off against another unit of archers at really long range. They're more likely to be killed by the person next to them than the people shooting at them, because the critical fail is so extreme, whereas the hit is just going to do a damage dice and take off some, a bit of damage. If you make your critical fails too extreme, for me, it actually takes away from the heroic nature of the story. And if you're doing D&D, you're playing a heroic story. So I don't like critical fails. And I tend to just treat the one as a fail, which is, I think, all it actually says in the rulebook. It's the critical fail thing is very much a house rule. And it's only on attack rolls, I believe. Although there is one auto fail on skills in 5e, I can't remember. But
yes, it is.
What I do is if the players are in a situation where a critical fail is possible because of what they're doing, then I'll tell them beforehand, there's a chance this could go very wrong if you roll a 1. Mm-hmm. But usually for me a 1 just means a miss. I prefer not to be over the top in terms of failure. But I do like the idea of coming up with some kind of systemic way of magic failure to offset what I want to do with the wizard, which is to remove the need for prepared spells. But it can't be as extreme as crit fail, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, at the same time, crit success is double damage or desired effect. Casting magic is like playing with plutonium. When my wizard announces she is going to cast a spell, the other players back the F up. I don't recommend handling plutonium, no matter the atomic weight, because it comes in atomic weight of 238 and 239 from recollection.
Nerd.
It's very nerdy, yes.
Nerd.
Not my favourite element. Barium 144.
You have a favourite
element?
element?
Barium 144. Do you know why it's my favourite element?
Why?
It's pear-shaped. The nucleus is pear-shaped. And we're a pair of geeks. It also, unfortunately, disproves time travel. Because without symmetry, it's unlikely we'll ever be able to do time travel on, because there's a non-symmetrical nucleus at cellular level. It means it's anyway, I went maximum nerd mode.
Yep. Tim Hortons is beloved, says Scott. I'm not sure if... Well, I'm not sure if you're being genuine or if you're being sarcastic with that, because...
I have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know much about it,
This concept
sorry.
of Tim Hortons is alien to me. Ronnie says, I do not hate D&D. I simply have so many other fantasy games that D&D is never going to get a look in. Well, I have been playing D&D fairly consistently since 5e came out, and before then I was doing a lot of first edition. Because, when a member of your regular role-playing group is the author of the retro clone, the original retro clone for first edition, I'm afraid we stuck with 1E all the way through, ignoring 3 and 4th edition, which I played at conventions. So, no, I mean, D&D is a game I still play. I do like D&D, but I do agree that variety in systems makes for more interesting. I wouldn't want to play D&D all the time, or any, even like whatever my favourite RPG system is, which I'm not sure. Probably my own, because ego.
Yeah, it's like even with Adventures in Middle Earth, eventually the 5e kind of gets to me a bit, and it's like, okay, I want to break from 5e, please. I want to run something else.
Yeah, but I do want to get that new setting book from Studio Agate.
Oh my god!
Seriously. Says you're right. Our group has house ruled 5e into not 5e anymore. I think that happens with every
5e,
group.
yeah.
Says to balance the wizard's nerf, they no longer have spell slots and can attempt to cast spells anytime they want.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, you've got to be careful though when removing spell slots, because that's huge. Because that basically means you can cast high-level stuff all the time.
Can I suggest an addition to that? Because I do love the idea of not having spell slots, because you got a book. Unless you lose the book, why would you... But how about they are harder to concentrate maybe over time, or they take more concentration, causes exhaustion?
Is an abstraction of mana.
Mm-hmm.
But importantly, is essential for 5e's balance, because the point is a wizard... Their damage output per turn should be a cantrip with the ability to burst a bit of damage during the day, and then got the utility of their other spells. If you remove spell slots and you don't have another mechanism for limiting damage, you can attack with your top attack spell, your burst damage, as a constant. So from a game design point of view, that's potentially very dangerous.
Unless you get exhausted and can only cast really small spells.
How are you measuring that? Is it some kind of mana-based system, like spell slots?
Yeah, well... I don't know. I've only just thought of it on the spot.
Scott. I've done his name wrong again. I'm going to hide from the camera.
Skillpo says that Scott checks shouldn't crit pass or fail, and use fail forward mechanics. Yikes, a 4? Okay, the lock clicks open, but it also triggers a secret panel which reveals a helmed horror. The scariest horror of them all.
Yeah, actually, succeeding on a fail is actually something that I like, because it solves an old problem. But I actually don't feel I need to do succeeding on a fail anymore. So what I mean by that, excuse me, like, let's say if you're on a quest and you've got a locked door that you have to get through, I personally wouldn't ask for a roll. My voice is going. I'm going to nick some of your water.
Okay. No, because it's like, that's the plot.
What if you fail to get through the door?
Yeah, it's a plot.
So what Scott's suggesting is something I have done in the past and used to do, which is where you get them to roll, but if they fail, you then get a complication.
Yes.
You still succeed in getting through, but you get that complication.
Yes.
Which is a fair way of doing it. And I think far too many GMs go, well, it's a locked door, there's a skill for that, roll the skill. And it's a problem. It's a huge issue. To the extent that I was in a game once where I was playing a rogue in first edition.
Mm-hmm.
First edition rogue has a listen skill.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to listen at the door. I rolled the dice. I got a critical failure. even though there's no such thing as a critical failure on the skill check in first ed that I can recall. And as a consequence, I couldn't hear anything. The fighter then listened at the door. Now, the fighter in first edition has no listen check. So he listens at the door, and he gets to hear a conversation. So I said, why couldn't I hear the conversation? He said, because your critical failed. And I said, but...
You have the skill.
No, why did I need to roll?
Yeah.
And the GM didn't get it. And that was a crying shame, because it's the classic problem, and it's an old joke in second edition, really, that it was, I think it was second when this particular joke came out, is player characters didn't start falling off their horses until they got a ride skill.
Yeah.
And it's true. GMs will ask you to roll the skill because the skill exists, when actually you should be rolling the situation.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of, like, if I choose to do a dice roll, it's quite often to make things more exciting, but I never put a wall in front of the plot. So yeah, if they fail, obviously it depends what it is, but yeah, I always throw a complication in, and if it's something slightly more mundane, if it's completely mundane, I don't do a roll at all. But if it's slightly more mundane, and maybe it's like a little extra thing that they could find or something, I put in a complication, so I don't say, if you say roll an investigation check, you don't find anything. I put something else in, like you uncover this instead, and it's a can of worms that opens up, metaphorically speaking, or something like that.
I used to have this rule that I still kind of have this rule. It's just that it kind of doesn't come up because it's got to the point where it's sort of, it's in my subconscious now, that it's no longer something I even think about. But the rule was, if the players have enough time and resources, they will always succeed. So something like a locked door on the quest path wouldn't be a roll because the players get time and resources. Yeah. They're not going to be stopped from opening that door. Why roll it? They could just roll again next turn, or whatever. They will eventually get through. Where it matters might be if they try to open that door during the middle of a boss encounter, then it might matter to me what turn that they get through. Or
if, they're trying to do it quietly, but they mess up.
Yes, when there's that secondary objective of stealth or something, but I always hate the word "and" on a skill check.
Yeah.
It's like, I move quickly and quietly. No, you don't. You move one or the other. You're either moving at half your speed and therefore getting stealth, or you're dashing.
Yeah, a bit like in 3.5 where it's like you've got a hide skill and a move silently skill.
It's one or the other.
Yes, but if you're a rogue, you obviously take loads in both.
Yes.
Because you want to be stealthy.
Yeah, but yeah, I think with skill checks, it's important never to say "and" or with narrative description from the player. Like if you're trying to do something, like you will never move quickly and quietly if you never say the word and that's kind of the problem in that sentence. We read that one, haven't we?
Yes.
Okay.
You forgot.
Says my chair just broke. I have to go. Thank you. Wow, that's a dramatic
sad.
exit.
That's so sad.
Sorry for your chair. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Friday.
Enjoy your Pride FLGS.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It really does.
I wish we had one of those, but never mind.
Well, we don't really have a friendly local gaming store. We just have a local gaming store.
Yeah.
Russell says, rule sets are rule sets. Any of them are good.
Thank you, Kitty.
Battle Lords of the 23rd century was a little rough, but the story is most important. I can play anything given a good story. And it's so true. I mean, Guy Jex himself said, if GMs ever figure out that they don't need the rules, we're screwed. And it's true. Kitty, you're being very loud.
Kitty's playing with a mouse.
A stuffed mouse.
Toy mouse.
Yeah, otherwise you'd be screaming.
Why would I be screaming?
I've dealt with enough mouses not to be bothered by them. I've had cats for years.
Right, okay, that was random.
Yeah, you've had Medusa who can't hunt anything.
Except insects.
Yes, she
When
does
she-
do insects.
When she wants to. Anyway.
No, I completely agree with that statement. And, the rules don't matter, and you can run any adventure with any system.
There you go. Ooh, I'm currently enjoying being a player in Starfinder and DMing 5e. Now, we had an awesome interview
Yeah.
with Amanda Hammond-Kuntz.
So last year we did. I interviewed Amanda Hammond-Kuntz, and she is the co-creator of Starfinder.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave away that huge Starfinder bundle. I'll give you some news on that in a second. This year we interviewed Amanda as at the same time as interviewing Jason Bulmer, but we also interviewed, I believe his name was Rob. I only met him in that interview.
Yeah,
and
it was Rob, yes.
Yeah, it was Rob, who is the other co-creator of Starfinder, like the top head honcho of the Starfinder line. So it was like this sort of Paizo megastar interview that will be airing during Con+2. Now, as I mentioned, last year we gave away this huge box of Starfinder goodies. We haven't received our prize giveaway from Paizo yet for Con+2. What I can tell you from what they've said is we're going to get obviously the brand new
Pathfinder second edition.
Second edition, that was going to be the second edition Pathfinder. Last year we gave away a first edition that was signed by everyone who worked on it. Everyone. So this year it's going to be second edition, and they're going to give us another big bundle of Starfinder stuff. Now I don't know what's in that bundle yet. We haven't got it yet. But they're duplicating the prize, so they're doing one lot of prizes for the audience, and then they're going to send another lot to the kids at the Butterfly Project, which is really awesome. So thank you for your continued support, Paizo, and it's great to have you back. So yeah, look out for that, because it was an epic prize last year.
Yes.
Honestly, the box was so heavy, it cost a fortune to post it. It was an amazing bundle of everything from character portfolios and star maps and battle mats for this, that and the other. We had a porn book, we had the monster manual thing, and all the books, and it was awesome.
So much.
Ronnie says, I don't know, Russell, no amount of arguing or debating or bribery would make me play Fatal.
I'm a little bit innocent on that, I'm afraid.
I'm going to be playing 5th Ed, Call of Cthulhu, 3rd Ed, and I'm running campaigns using Savage Worlds and True 20, and due to run Blue Rose Age of...
And of course,
Castle Falkenstein.
Castle Falkenstein.
Yeah, that's a lot of different systems,
That's
but
very
honestly,
Ronnie.
all of those systems are systems I'd expect you to run, Ronnie. I mean,
Yes,
there's nothing new in their collection. So
James is off, so
having a great weekend. I have big plans for this weekend.
yes, she's going to be staring at Le Mans for
24
most of it.
hours. I'm getting my practice in for Con+2. By watching the Le Mans 24-hour motor race, I am practicing 24 hours of staying awake.
Yes. Yes, it's not moving. There we go. Russell says to Ronnie, well, there is gaming in the rule set. There will be ones you enjoy more than others. For me, the fun ones are the good story ones.
Yeah, I mean, that mostly comes from the GM and the story they're telling.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a few things I don't like in a system. Like, I personally am not a big fan of dice pool systems, because it takes...
Yeah, you said that before.
Well, it just takes so long to do a roll. Firstly, getting the right number of dice, clearing the space big enough for the dice, although your dice trays work well for that. And then when you're actually interpreting the dice results, because there's usually a positive and a negative, like Vampire, for example, you get a 6 or more that's a success, but a 1 counters 1. So you then pair off your dice.
Yes.
and then count the remaining excess.
Yes, that I do agree with.
It takes too long.
There are some pools that are better though. So for example, Ubiquity is very quick. Yes, there is a pool that you roll, but you can roll whatever dice you want as long as they're odd and even. And if you get evens, you succeed. If you get odds, it's not succeed.
There's
Nice and quick.
Yeah, but even then, you're still sorting the dice into 2 piles.
Well, not really. You can just go, okay, there's 2, there's a 6, there's an 8.
Well, it depends how many dice. I mean, I did play a convention game once with a dice pool system where this guy had to roll 17, was it? Or was it over
yes, you
20?
mentioned that.
I can't remember the exact number now. It was a few years ago. But D10s all at the same time, around 20 of them. So they used a dice tower, which they just happened to have to try and make it possible, and it jammed the dice tower. We were doing it in segments.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But that was obviously a bit over the top. But even a game like Vampire, where you're rolling 7, 8 dice on a roll that you're skilled on, 10 I think is possibly the most that you can roll. I've timed players doing this because when I first did AFA, which is a card-based game. One of the criticisms I got from a player was it takes too long to do a round. It can take 30 to 40 seconds to get a result. And so I started timing it, and or actually a minute maybe on some occasions. So I started timing how long players actually took doing dice rolls at the table. Just as a bit of research for my own work. Like, is it too slow to do cards? Do I need to come up with a different way of doing this? And I discovered, to my shock, when I actually started timing how long players took, sometimes it was as much as 5 minutes for a player to do a roll. And the average was, in some games, around 2 minutes, and over a minute. Like, it can take a very long time. And for me, you add a dice pool mechanic to that where it takes even longer, and it's just, when you finally got the player to actually get the frigging dice out, you think it's quick, and it can be, and with some groups it most likely is. And, with most of our groups it is relatively quick. But there are definitely times when it doesn't. I think the average from all the groups, when it averaged it out, was on the modal. I can't remember if it was the average or the modal, but it was around a minute for a dice roll, which is roughly the same it took to play a hand of cards in AFA. So I was like, yeah.
But even if you just have, say, 1 die with something that you add or whatever, as you've mentioned before, there are certain groups where they roll the die and then they have to look at their character sheet and work out how much they're adding rather than prepare it first.
And then there might be
rolling.
some discussion of bonuses and penalties for the situation, and you add it all up, and actually it can take a very long time to resolve. So in the end, I actually worked out about the same to do AFA.
Yeah.
Ronnie says, Fatal is a fantasy game that is over 900 pages long and has such wonderful parts of character creation as rolling to see how big one's anatomy is. The guy who wrote it is pretty sick.
I wish I had remained innocent, but now I am not.
I know that now. Damn.
Wow. You've ended my innocence, Ronnie. I hope you're happy.
Somebody please say something else. We can't end the stream on that.
No. Please say something.
Oh my word. That's a whole new level.
Yeah.
Look, miniatures.
We have miniatures and awesome things.
Distract the brain.
Yes, distract the brain. Well, why don't we keep with the dice rolling for a minute? Because we both have different opinions on percentiles.
We do?
Sort of, yeah. I prefer them more than you.
I have nothing against percentile. I mean, it's an unnecessary level of granular detail.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You think it's, too much detail, or was it somebody else who said you can fail too much with a percentile or something?
You can't fail too much. I mean, one of the problems of using a 2 dice system, this is less of an issue now because all poly sets have a 10s die, But because in the old days you'd be rolling 2d10, some players would be flexible as to which was the tens die. I used to have a rule at my table, which in theory still stands, but tens dice seem to have deprecated it, was the darkest die is always the tens die, no matter what your preference is. At that table, at our table, the darkest dice was the tens die, and that just got rid of that problem.
Yeah.
That used to be an issue. I'd say less so now. But the only thing is, it's not a criticism. It's just there's a level of granularity in percentile systems that is utterly unnecessary. Like, does it matter if somebody's got a 33% skill or a 34? Is that really representing a significant difference? So why use 2 dice when, actually a d20 is probably fine? For this, it's as meaningful. It's a 5% jump. It's a single dice.
It is, but a 5% in Cthulhu, for example, is very significant. That's the extreme band, your 5%.
Yes, now Cthulhu does, in the modern 7th edition, it has 4 ways to interpret a dice result.
Oh, if you count fails, yeah.
Yeah, fail, pass, hard pass, and extreme pass. But I've noticed, because I've played quite a few games of 7th edition Cthulhu with quite a different number of diverse groups now, and I've noticed that players really struggle to get that concept.
Why?
The hard and extreme, it's a number of players just hasn't clicked, which is kind of strange. But also, the one thing I dislike about that particular mechanic is it's not the simplest thing to work out.
No, which is why you get the AutoCalc PDFs, and then it's fine.
Yeah. Which does make it easier, but I much prefer these things to be simple.
But also, if you really can't work it out, there is a page in the handbook that you can look at. There's a thing on the DM screen as well, so there are aids. But I know what you mean. It's quite tricky to
which can be
work out to start with.
Like, if you think about it, if you're running an NPC and say you don't have the DM screen, you're running an NPC and you make a dice roll, and because you've not got the NPC fully statted, you just know that they've got 57 in something. You get a low roll and you go, oh, do I have to work that out now?
Yes.
It's alright, so it's a 19 for a hard pass, and is it half again for an extreme?
No, it's the 5th.
Oh, crikey, even that's just, I can't just go half and...
Well, for example, 20, 10, 4.
Yeah, but it's not simple maths to just halve it.
No, it's not. And kind of like the whole character creation anyway in Call of Cthulhu, it takes a little while to do.
Yeah, and
once you got it...
Yeah, but
there
doesn't work for NPCs then.
No, I agree with that. It doesn't really. With NPCs, I tend to use them more on a pass-fail thing, and actually the way it's set out is just like, you get, stealth is 30, or library use is 50 or something. It's simpler. But actually, one thing I don't like about the skills, which I sort of change a little bit, is they can be used, the whole hard pass, extreme pass is used as a tier by the DMs, a bit like DC. So you could say, oh, you can make a roll, but it's a hard pass you must succeed by, which I don't like.
As a player, I don't like it because, let's say you've got a 60% skill in something. That's a reasonable chance of success, 2/3 chance.
You're pretty good at that skill.
You're pretty good, right? But the moment you go hard, because it's such a big jump to half...
that's why I don't like it.
You've now got a 1 in 3 chance. That's not a very good chance of success. And, as a player, anything that's going to be asking me for a hard pass, I have a less than 50% chance in.
Yeah.
Which means that's a poor use of my action.
Yeah. Which is why when I do it, as you know, I never say, oh, you must get, a hard pass and whatever. What I do is I see how well you pass by, and I sort of give a sort of an idea in my head of, okay, how hard do they have to do the thing? And then, so I might give you a little bit of information, I might give you a lot of information, depending on how well you roll.
And then that just muddies the water over the hard and the extreme when you're starting to say, did you pass it by 20 or more, or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. And for some skills, hard, extreme, it's like, they are a bit muddied. But for me, it works because Cthulhu's a very story-driven game anyway. I like it to be a little bit grey with some things, and even like with the character, if they've got a specific background in something, I will make it slightly different to say if someone has a different background and they do the skill and stuff. So I do it a very story way. I don't let the tears get in the way.
In short, like, I don't have an issue with percentile-based systems. Nothing particularly wrong with them. I just don't think it's the best mechanics that you can use. And I know some games are tied to percentile. Cthulhu is one that's very percentile driven. First edition had percentile rolls, but I seem to recall Warhammer had quite a few.
Yeah, Warhammer's got percentile. Well, not back in the day anymore. Because
So is
4th edition.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, so I have no idea.
Yes, but as I mentioned, it is the old stuff revised.
Is it still percentile?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like it's just not as flexible and as good as simpler systems, in my personal opinion.
I like the Simba dice. Or die.
I've not played it.
So you have several attributes, and you roll a d20 under.
Oh, okay, yeah. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
I mean that's not an uncommon approach in RPG design of quite a few RPGs actually of usually the smaller ones of the I'm trying to sort of 3.5 era. You look around the indie RPGs of that era, that kind of approach was quite common.
You might get a small modifier, like a +3 or something if you've got surprise. I don't know. And it's really simple and streamlined. Okay.
Yeah. Another fairly interesting approach that I quite like is one where you can use different sized dice on stats, so your stats just have a dice size, so anything strength related, you roll your strength die. I think that's a cool approach. It kind of breaks with the standard polyset dice though, which is why I think anybody who creates that system needs to get all the odd shaped dice and support those too. And I think there is a game that does do that. Is it Dungeon Hack? I've not played it, but D3s exist now, guys. So do D5s, 7s. In fact, D2s exist. Polyhedral D2s. You'd think it would just be a coin, but no. Polyhedral D2s are a thing. They go together like that.
It's so cute.
Yeah, they can't explain it. I have them. They're cool. So dice exist now all the way up to 30. You can have a dice. At least once you get past D. I think there's a D13. I don't think there's a 15. So
I'm
at that
sure
point
you've got a D15. It's D14 I haven't seen.
No, I've got 14. I don't think I've got 15.
Oh,
I can't remember if I've got 30. So anyway, at some point it goes every 2, which is perfect, all the way up to 30. And then you get the 34, which I haven't got. Because they never made them in the right colour.
No.
So Ronnie says, when it was 2d10 being run, I made the player call out the high die before they rolled. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, of course, they wouldn't, or they'd miss it, or whatever else, and, I just felt having a rule at the table that it was the darker die just solved the problem.
Yeah.
Without it ever being a debate. But
Yeah.
so these days, that whole debate has kind of gone by the wayside. So Ronnie says, what I get annoyed at is when people mix up percentile with D100.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Are you talking about the 10 star? I saw a discussion actually on the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Facebook group.
Oh.
Where somebody was suggesting that because the 0 went as a D10 represents 10, that when you rolled it with, let's say, a 10s die and you got a 60, let's say, you would interpret that as 70. because the 0
What?
apparently meant 10. I went,
No.
that doesn't work.
The only thing I did used to get mixed up with was the whole the extremities. So I used to think it went from 1 to 99, not 1 to 100, because I would obviously now I know it's like, okay, if you get a 0, 0 and a 0, that's 100.
Yeah.
But I thought that didn't exist because you've got the tens. So if you've got a 0, 1, and then a 0, 0 and a 1 is a 1, and then all the way up to 99. I did not know about the 0, 0 and 0. I thought that was 10. So,
Ah.
yeah. But obviously, I know you get 10, 20
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the.
Then
on
two
tens.
10 times...
I
two
know.
10-sided dice. That's 10 times 10
Yep.
is 100. I mean, it's...
Yeah, no, but that's what I used to think. And then someone pointed it out, and I'm like, wait, what? 100 is critical fail, not 99? Oopsie. You can't have too many dice. No, you can't, Phil, which is why you need to win them all at Con+2.
Ronnie Bradley says, percentile is used by games like Cthulhu, whilst the D100 system is used by games like Rollmaster. They are almost opposite. One is roll low as possible, the other is roll high as possible.
Hey, kitty.
Well, to be honest, I don't really consider rolling low and rolling high on the system as being different dice.
No, me neither.
They're just D100 and D percentile are kind of the same thing. It's just some systems are roll low, some systems are roll high.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to give that particular dice a different name for that circumstance. What do you call a D6 on a roll low system?
Well, it's a bit like you've got a D6 in Monopoly and a D6 in Fighting Fantasy. They're the same, but they are very different in how they're used.
Oh, so Fighting Fantasy roll low, do you?
Indeed.
Okay, so is there a special name for the D6 in Final Fantasy because it's roll low? Is it the D Fantasy dice?
No, but you know what I mean? Like, people who play Monopoly don't call it a D6. They call it the dice.
The die.
Or the die.
Because there's two of them.
Yeah. There's two of
'Cause
them.
I am guilty of not correctly pluralizing dice
Yes.
as die.
But, you know,
Oops.
it's just a different way of looking at them, but it's the same thing. Same piece of plastic or stone or resin.
I would suspect mostly plastic rather than resin. Resin dice would crack.
Yes, you're right, they would.
And
And on that deep note,
I think we've hit the end of the stream, guys.
yes. Thank you very much for tuning in and letting us show off all these prizes to you, which are going to be yours, by the way, just in case you weren't sure.
Everything you saw in this stream tonight will be given away, plus a ton of other prizes. Not a literal ton, I just mean lots. Although it might
Maybe
be a literal
close,
ton.
maybe close to a ton. We're not sure yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of prizes coming. You know, I mean, we showed so many today. I was just looking over there. Is that no? That's yours.
That's my stuff. Yeah.
So you know, this stuff everywhere. We're surrounded by things you can win. We're gonna give it all away
To you.
Oh, the hat came off. I cannot lose the hat.
No.
It's a rule. You can win all of this stuff, and you don't have to do anything except watch Pair of Geeks on October the 12th to October the 13th at Con+2. That's pretty much all you have to do.
Indeed. As well as donate, if you can.
We will make you donate to charity. I'm sorry. It's just a thing. You will watch us on that day. We will make you donate. In fact, if you go there now, if you go to con+2.live,
Right now.
I will let you into... If you've stayed this late in the stream, I'll let you into a little secret. Okay, I'm just trying to put that down in
Just
such
make
a way
as
that
much noise as
Yeah,
possible.
well, I didn't want to just kind of went underneath.
Babe, the mic.
Sorry. God damn it. Sorry. I was trying not to crush
We've
one
got
of
to the
prizes.
bloopers section, as you
Yes.
can see.
Right. Here's the thing you can do. There is, this year on Con+, there is this virtual currency. It is not used to win prizes, per se. We have a new computer game that we've created especially for Con+.
Mm-hmm.
It is an arena prize fighter, we call it. It's an arena battle with gladiators. By taking part in the chat on the telethon stream on October the 12th to October the 13th, you will automatically get a gladiator entered into the arena with your YouTube name over the top of your avatar's head, and it will do the fighting for you. And it's just a way of representing the random win, because we didn't want to use last year we used the D5 dice, the 5-sided dice, which was cool, but
this is cooler.
it is cooler, but the problem that it had was, for us, we really want the chat to take off, because if the chat takes off, that helps promote the video. But people shouting the numbers 1 to 5 would kind of kill the conversation that was actually happening.
Yeah.
And we want that conversation to happen because it makes it more engaging and interesting for you guys to have a chat. So we didn't want to fill the chat up with spammed numbers. And also, if somebody then came to the stream, all they're going to see is numbers rather than talk about RPGs.
Yeah.
So just by taking part in the chat, you will get an avatar in this 3D computer game that I created especially for the telethon. And it just automatically does the fight for you. When you win a prize, your avatar is then downgraded, so you're slightly less powerful. That's so that other people can win prizes. But it's also, because this is a charity thing, it's about raising money for the Butterfly Project, which is an amazing charity that does stuff with role-playing games and board games. So by spending virtual currency, you can buff your avatar back up. And that's pretty much what it is now.
Well, you can't. You can buff it back up, but you can do more than that. You can make it even more powerful.
Yes, you can get healing potions and things like that.
There is even an epic level tier.
There is, which, but, you know, the point is, the best way to get that virtual currency will, of course, be, the way you do it is by making a donation on the Con+ website. But if you were to, let's say, do a small monthly subscription to the charity, let's say 3-4 quid, something small and manageable, right?
Price for a cup of coffee.
You will have a load of virtual currency ready for the night. And you can go do that now on the Con+.live website. Just do a donation and don't do it anonymously. If you do it anonymously, it's not tracked. We can't give you the gold, right? But if you go there now and you do a small monthly donation, just a small amount that you can afford, come the night, you'll have a load of virtual currency ready
just
for healing potions and making yourself epic for
like
winning prizes.
Dragon Hoard.
And then you
could get this.
Can get prizes like this and the other stuff we've shown you tonight. So, because ultimately this is a convention that's there to raise money for charity, and it's about the Butterfly Project, which is an amazing charity. It does such a wonderful job for these kids, and you can read all about it on the Con+ Live website. I won't tell you. Yes, Ronnie has seen it and he says it's stunning. I won't bore you with too many details now talking about it. I will on the night. You won't be bored. You'll be entertained. And crying, I hope. It's our job, right? It's to make you want to give money to this amazing cause. No way am I going to last 24 hours. My voice is gone. But look, you know, we really care about this charity, which is why we're doing it. And but just, if you can afford a few quid, go do it. It's how many quid in a pound? One.
A quid is a pound.
Sorry, did I English?
We did English apparently, but I believe Scott is mocked a little bit in the chat because of it. I want one, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $1. Yeah, just spend a few bucks.
Yeah.
It's $1.
But yeah. So the charity is based in the UK. The head office is in the UK. So we are raising money in British pound sterling this year, because by working in the currency the charity use, there's no loss in conversion rate. In many ways, it would have been easier doing an international convention to work in dollars, but the charity themselves have to work in sterling because they're a registered charity and audited accounts, all that kind of stuff. So so we're raising the money in sterling. The value of sterling is, I think you get, I'm not sure exactly, Google it, but it'll be like I think it's like, is it 60 cents in a pound, or is it 70 or something?
No, it's more than that now. It's quite close. I would say it was about 77 cents now.
We're guessing, don't quote us on that, Google it and stuff. But yeah, so we're raising money in pounds.
No, what am I talking about? Other way around. About 77 pence in a dollar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No? Yes.
Yes.
So you'll pay about, what, $1, 30, 40-ish?
Yeah, something like that per pound.
Yeah. So yeah, look, it's an amazing cause, doing amazing things with board games and role-playing games. And I've spoken to some of these kids, and they are fantastic kids. So please do consider it. But I'll save the tirade now until the night. I'll try.
Or possibly the next stream next week.
Yeah, I'll probably mention it then.
But speaking of next week, we will see you then.
Yeah, look, I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but did you know we're getting married? We didn't get it in this week for the first time, so it felt awkward and forced.
It was awkward and forced.
Talking about awkward and forced, let's just finish off by reading out the most awesome people in the world as we head off. So thank you very much to we need to get the finish stream up ready. The end button.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
Which is under the friggin' send feedback button.
Where is the? I've lost the button. It doesn't exist anymore. Is it off the edge of the screen? We're so professional.
Oh, it's there.
It's there now.
All right, got
right.
it. Okay.
So, thank you very much to Russell Higgins, Jolly Mangina, Amber, Mark Threlful, Brandon Fishwick, Dave Poirier, Fuke Enterprises, Philip Bate, Elizabeth Chipreditkel, and Nate Hanshan, who are all our wonderful backers. They are the most awesome people in the world.
Seriously, without you people, this wouldn't happen.
Yes, you help fund us making this stuff possible, because this goes to us, not the charity. So thank you very much for that support, even though I'll probably spend all of it on postage for the prizes.
Yeah, but not even postage, but things like being able to go to conventions, to get interviews, to talk to people. It all costs stuff. So you are helping us do this and get equipment and things. It's amazing.
But today is about doing monthly donations to Con+.
Yes.
Let's not promote us. Let's talk. This is about the charity. So
you're right.
Please give money to the Butterfly Project on con+2.live. Link in the description.
We will see you all next week. Same time, same place.
Bye.
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 You missed.
I missed the button, didn't I?
You missed the button.
That's awkward. Yeah.
Press end.
Oh, there's two buttons.
Yeah.
There's a confirm.
Yeah.
It's so professional.